All right, all right. Enough of all of that noise. How we looking? How we looking? Looking all right. All right, guys. So if you don't actually know about this, Willie Mac has been getting some hate for his newest dog pack video. Well, his newest Mr. Beast video. A lot of people don't like the way he covered it. A lot of people are saying that he gave way too much leniency to the people who came out, to some of the people making claims, like the failed comedian who wanted like 50,000, or who took 50,000 out of 190,000 that Mr. Beast was offering him. So a lot of people were pretty much trying to go after Willie Mac and saying that he didn't do his due diligence. There was some things he had to concede on and say that, hey, yes, I messed up. Like when he said that Delaware had only wore his the mask in one had only wore the mask in the one video he was in. He later had to go back and retract that and say that he was wrong, and that Delaware, if you don't know, Delaware is the RSO, registered offender, who was hired by Mr. Beast, the company, not Mr. Beast himself. At least we don't know that. We haven't seen any documentation, or no one's come out and said that Mr. Beast, the person, hired him themselves. Anyways, so Willie Mac has kind of been making the rounds. He debated Chud Logic. He was talked to Nicholas Diorio about it. And a couple of days ago, I guess what may have started the rounds was him talking to Luhrix here. Full disclosure, I absolutely did watch. What up, Zeph? Full disclosure, I absolutely did watch about an hour of this. And pretty much what ended up happening is I figured I shouldn't have to be the only one who suffers through this garbage debate, interview, maybe whatever you want to call this. I mean, at some point when you're having a debate about potential abuse and all this other stuff, you don't want to hear someone turn around and say, I don't want to argue facts. You don't, that's not something you want to hear from somebody who's having a debate about, pedo shit. Nobody wants to hear that and turn around and say, instead of arguing facts, let's argue feelings and morals. And it's like, I get that. I get morals is something that you want to argue against all of this BS, but nobody gets arrested over morals. You can't go to the moral bank, take out a moral loan to go to moral court with a moral lawyer and sue someone or arrest somebody over their morals. You know what you can arrest somebody over? You can arrest them over with a child. Kind of like how Delaware got arrested for with a child. So it's just, I was listening to this and I was just like, there's absolutely no way that two creators this large had this shitty of a debate. So enough of an intro. Let's get into it. We're about an hour and 20, almost an hour and 20 into the actual Luhrix stream. If you want to go and watch him, check out the entire stream. I don't know if I'll cover everything today because it is about a 2.5 hour debate, but I can't even really call it a debate at this point, but you'll see what I mean. All right, let's get this started.
Dude, what is up, man? Oh, you're gonna show face cam, dude?
Same old.
Dude, let's.
Well, if you're live, I figured I might as well appear.
It's cool. What's up, dude? Okay, so I saw your. I assume you saw my stream, and I saw your comments.
So I didn't. I saw Yeah, so I just want to be upfront because unlike with Chud, I watched Chud's full stream before I talked to him.
Yeah.
So we were on the same page for like the conversation going into it.
Mm-hmm.
With yours, I only saw it after Smaggle tweeted me to come on, and then when I went to you, your stream was over because I was cooking.
Yeah.
So I only saw the part where you reacted to me and Chud, talking about.
If you haven't watched Willie Mac and Chud, they actually do go at it, and there is a bit of a point where Chud Logic, where Willie Mac actually has to craft Chud Logic's argument against him in order for them to come to an agreement. So it seems like even with some of the more commentary people or some of the more veteran commentary people, this video of WillyMax has kind of, people don't seem to understand what they really want to argue about. I don't know. Go watch the Chai Logic versus WillyMac. It's about an hour and a half, I think. You'll see what I mean. But it's way fucking better than this bullshit.
Ty or.
Yeah.
So just to give context on where I'm at, so I don't know all your positions on everything or what you disagree with me on.
Yeah, so I think, so I took a look at the video. There is that one thing, scrolling through it, remembering that there's the Delaware detail where I'm pretty sure you said, and we're like trying to frame it in this way, that Delaware, where this was a smaller one, but just like a quick thing, is that Mr. Beast is like more culpable for this, and that you use it as like a way to bolster your argument by him giving him the mask, like purposely to cover his fucking face.
This is what I was talking about, where he was incorrect. WillyMac was incorrect when he said that Delaware was utilizing the mask in the one and only video that he was in. That was very obviously just not true. WillyMac then ended up being notified of it and going back and realizing that he was wrong. Now, the worst, I think, most egregious thing about WillyMac's coverage on the Delaware situation is the fact that he trusted Dogpack to do any bit of research. That was the issue.
When there is other videos of Delaware in videos.
If you're here for Ken, I apologize. Ken works tonight, so it's just me, bros. I mean, I'll tell Ken and I'll pass on the love. Ken is number one, that's for sure. You can't get enough of that sexy voice. I'm gonna just be honest.
Out the mask.
Yeah, so with Delaware, I completely agree, because I didn't know you were at this conclusion already, because I just came to this conclusion 2 days after my video came out, where you're watching the Dogpack interview and you have Jake Weddle come forward and say all this stuff and like, hey, he's wearing a mask, and you literally covered up the sex offender, right? And then you had Jake the Viking confirm like, hey, this guy is on the sex registry. So that was one of those things where I thought, all right, well, this is set and done. This is Dogpack. He grabbed the video, put it in. 2 days later, and I think I do have a tweet about this that came out a couple days ago or something. I was like, yo, I don't think this is true, because I'm going through and watching all these videos that supposedly have Delaware in it, and they're using his real name a lot of the time, and he's not wearing a mask. So yeah, that is a claim. I don't think that's true at all, dude, and I think that's going to come way back when Mr. Beast responds.
If Mr. Beast ever responds. Last month, Keemstar said he was going to be responding. A lot of people think that Jimmy's going to respond. The smartest thing for him to do is honestly not, because he's such a huge creator that eventually it's going to just go away if he never says anything. And when you have somebody like Dogpack turning around and saying, I'm not going to release the next video with even more evidence. I'm not going to release the freaking video with even more evidence than, until he responds. It's like, well, all right. Open log again. All right. That's down. Let me just do that real quick. I wonder if that came through. I think it did. Zeph, you go ahead and jump on in, brother. But with Dogpack saying that, he has this bombshell of a video he made and he's going to release it once Mr. Beast responds, I mean, that's the entire reason for Mr. Beast to not respond. That it's he's handled it in such a terrible fucking way, man. It's insane.
Yeah.
How much of a difference that necessarily matters, I guess? Probably some. What do you think?
So the thing is, it's like
the grand scheme of things for Mr. Beast with the Delaware drama in total.
What up? Not much. I guess I'll have to hold on. Let me just go ahead and share. It is what it is. No worries. Let me just... I own the fucking show. I can do whatever the fuck I want. I own it. I fucking like, hey, if they want to go ahead and trade places and pay for everything, by all means, they can dictate whatever the fuck happens on this show. I didn't see your message because I mute everything on Discord so it doesn't come through. Anyways, all right, let's continue.
Well, what it would show is that if he purposely gave him a mask, it would show that Jimmy was more malicious in his actions, and more goes to show that like he 100%.
Is it a mute issue? You don't hear it? Oh, okay. Man, you got me freaking worried out here, man.
Knew. So that would be something that would confirm.
He has to know because Chris Tyson says he knew, and
that Jimmy knew.
That's a terrible argument. I will say that.
Tyson put out a tweet.
I will say this: as much as I enjoy WillyMac's videos, he does have some terrible freaking takes in this video, like saying that because Chris Tyson knew, therefore Jimmy must know. But it's like, you can be best friends with somebody and not know every little detail of their life or not know every little thing that they know. Like you can't use maybes and what ifs when it comes to accusations. You know, it's like that doesn't hold up in court. Imagine going before a judge and saying, well, his friend knew, so it's obvious he knew. Like that doesn't hold up.
Like after Jake the Viking, I think, was let go, like shitting on him for it. I don't think that's confirmation.
Well, yeah, literally pointing out. So you're telling me that Chris knows and not Jimmy?
Well, here's the thing.
Dude.
Well, here's the thing. It would be whether or not that Jimmy knew and then hired him. That's something that could be the case, but it's not confirmed yet. And that was another thing I saw about your video that I thought was a little bit of an overstatement, is that it isn't 100% confirmed that Jimmy did know.
If Chris knows and Jake recounts how he was hired, I think you're right. Maybe that's wrong. I think it's extremely likely, but I mean, we'll have to see on that.
Yeah, no, it could be. It's just I wouldn't make a definitive 100% statement on it because Jake the Viking, I do not think is a reliable source or narrator.
Why is that?
Because he was the one going at like Jimmy the entire time, saying like Jimmy knew, and in the meantime he was like hiding the fact, like, bro.
Well, not only that, but
wait, that's your like brother-in-law, and
yeah, right there. It's like, yeah, of course Jimmy knew. How did no, it's not a bias. What it is it's him trying to out Jimmy as somebody who like turns around to and hires pedos, and he's like, of course he knew. He hired my brother-in-law, who I know is a pedo, and it's like that's a terrible argument. Yeah, it's a terrible argument. It's a terrible argument. Oh my god.
He never even mentioned the fact that he was Jimmy like
knew
that
about
guy.
Chris, which I think Jimmy did know a lot about Chris.
Wait, sorry, say that again?
Well, Jake the Viking was going on about that Jimmy knew about Chris, right? That's it?
About Chris, and then I'm pretty sure the registered sex offender too. There was some.
That's his brother-in-law. He does say Jimmy knew about that.
Yeah.
That was something that's embarrassing for him because he obviously likes his brother-in-law.
Yeah, but the guy was like dishonest with his framing. Like Jake the Viking is with the way he was talking about the situation. I remember him being dishonest with his framing. I know even he got owned by like Jake Weddle.
If you don't, I'm okay if you don't want to talk about this.
With Jake the Viking? No, I don't think Jake the Viking is a reliable narrator.
But is there a reason like why? What are you specifically citing for that?
The Jimmy knew stuff, but then he wasn't even mentioning the fact that like it was his involvement. There was that about the registered sex offender and the Chris Tyson stuff. Let me see. So I remember.
Well, WillyMac absolutely did, because of the fact is that he made the video, right? So he had to do the research for it. Luhrix, on the other hand, comes from it as an angle of this is the way I feel and this is the way I think, even though I'm not even though I don't know. And that's the whole reason why I named the stream The Debate About Damn Near Nothing, because it's like, how are you going to try and debate something? You're trying to debate morals, you're debating feelings instead of facts. Like, you can't, and WillyMac even says it multiple times. He's like, I can't debate you out of the way you feel. Like, this is pointless. So yeah,
Okay.
There's that and this other thing, but
But what specifically did he say that makes you think he's unreliable?
well, him not mentioning like that fact,
What
like he
fact?
didn't seem like a trustworthy source. That he was upfront with like that was his brother-in-law, and that he also
Oh,
did know.
yeah,
He was
it's
going
because
heavy. It
he's
was
trying
like
to protect his brother-in-law. That's why.
which is also
yeah,
a
well,
bad
it was like
argument.
hilarious the fact he was going like Jimmy for something like Jimmy knew when it's like, bro, you knew too. You were his fucking brother-in-law, and then he was defending his brother-in-law. Oh, I remember what the other one was too. He was defending his brother-in-law for the what was it, rape or pedophilia charges or the sexual
Well, I
assault
mean,
of a
yeah, the
victim to
charge
1
is
and
some
11,
sort of sexual assault
and he was like claiming that
an
like
11-year-old or 1 to 11-year-old. We don't actually know.
yeah, the guy kept flip-flopping with whether or not like it was justified, but then he would say to the fact that like she didn't do anything he didn't do anything wrong and the girl could have been lying or whatever.
Because he likes his brother-in-law.
But it's like, if they were lying, why did you plead guilty? That it, like, I don't know about you, but I would rather turn around and be found guilty by a court of law and then have my day and then have the ability to appeal that, versus turning around and saying, oh yeah, I did it. Even if it meant no jail time or little jail time. There's no way I'm pleading guilty to freaking sex with somebody at maximum at 11 years old. There's no fucking way. Like, what up, Ken? It's dude, there's just absolutely no way you do. Like, Homelander would beat me to death before that ever happened. Like, before that ever came out of my mouth, dude. There's no way. It's just, oh my god.
I mean, this isn't that crazy to say that. I don't think that makes him a unreliable narrator on the fact that whether to me, it comes off as more credible because if he's defending his brother-in-law so hard, and then yet he also comes out and is like, hey, look, Jimmy was aware when he hired him, and this is why. I think that, if anything, gives is more believable, no?
Well, here's the thing. All of this is like go to prove and show that like it isn't 100% confirmed. So yeah, you can't
Nothing's 100% confirmed, right? There's a level of circumstantial evidence where when it reaches a certain bar, like eventually that becomes like whether I believe you or not in your lies.
And he's not wrong about
lies,
that.
right?
Circumstantial evidence can be held in the
Mr.
place
Beast
of
company,
legitimate
the Mr. Beast
evidence, like
company,
hard
I think
evidence.
I think for
certainly
making
some degree, if not Jimmy directly. If Ava Chris Tyson knows, there's zero chance Jimmy doesn't know, in my brain.
okay, but here, first off, I think the first thing you said, definitively, if you're going to say in like your video, you should know because there is stuff confirmed, and you shouldn't like say definitively something is the case when it's not, and it's just whether or not you like believe the story of enough circumstantial evidence. So that's the first thing. But also with Chris bringing it up in, I think it was 2022 or whatever. The thing is, we need to know the timeline on it. Did Mr. Beast know and then?
Hold on. I don't think you're coming through. Give me a talk, Zeph. Nope, you're not. All right. Well, this might. All right, we might be back. Hold on. Let's see what happens.
Give it a moment.
We apologize for that. We apologize for dropping. Let me just check and make sure we're actually.
See, we just wanted to make
Yep.
sure that you guys could hear my beautiful voice, and it'd be poor service if y'all can't hear me.
There we go. All right, now we have Zeph. Although you are there. All right, we got you. We got you alive now. You're good. All right.
Hell yeah.
Sometimes OBS likes to, do some fuckery. Anyways, back to the debate.
Fire him, or did Mr. Beast know and then hired him? Because those timelines are very different on
there's
the
a chance
severity.
Jake's lying, I guess, just to. I don't know. Maybe there's a chance they're lying.
Well,
about
there
it.
could be
We'll
a
have to
chance that
find out.
there's a chance that he's telling the truth. There could be a chance that he's lying. The thing is, you can't make a definitive statement. That's the meme.
No,
True, but even if you can't make a definitive statement, you can still go ahead and go based off of circumstantial evidence, right? It's like if you see a trail of blood, right? You're not going to turn around and be like, huh, probably nobody got hurt. No, you're going to say, okay, I don't know what's at the end of this trail of blood, but whatever it is, it might have gotten fucked up. Like, you have the ability to make inferences, and think, okay, that might happen. Now, if Jake the Viking is lying about, Mr. Beast knowing about all of this, it would be really dumb because he immediately got ousted as his brother-in-law being a registered sex offender. Like, how dumb would you have to be to do that? It's all he did was bring hate upon himself. So
it would have been a lose-lose situation at that point. Like lying, saying that Mr. Beast knew is just essentially asking him, like you said, the excess hate.
And not only that,
you're setting yourself up to get kicked in the face.
What's up, the meme Dom? Not only that, but it's like Mr. Beast, Jimmy, is himself, right? He doesn't have to even do anything. Mr. Beast, the company itself, has its own lawyers, its own section of lawyers where it can, that's litigatable, right? Or that's litigation right there. That's defamation. That's an accusation with no weight or no bearing. And it's not like it's without issue. Like, how many subs did Mr. Beast lose? That's millions of dollars. Could have cost him the contract with Amazon, although he's kind of doing that all on his own at this point. But yeah, but it's like Mr. Beast literally doesn't have to respond at all. He could just throw out lawsuits against all of these people, and they're the ones who have to prove that what they're saying is true. Obviously, he would have to offer, facts against what they're claiming. But it's like to turn around and say you knew what this person's intent was, or you knew what was in their mind when it happened. Without hard evidence of that, like somewhere on paper or a recording, just word of mouth isn't enough.
You can't.
Right. If it's a lie, why would you do such an expensive potential lie? It's just
right. Like
setting yourself up. It's setting yourself up for failure. Like you said, with the Mr. Beast lawyers and the things that he has behind him. Oh shit! What's up,
shout out to DeForce for the $10, Mr. Beast.
Thank you, man.
Oh man, it's as you were saying though,
it's an expensive lie. Like if he knows Jimmy, he's been in Jimmy's circle, so it's setting himself up for failure. So there's a circumstance of the idea like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for him to necessarily lie about something that could easily be taken to court, like you said.
And not even that, but imagine being his brother or his brother-in-law. And it's like, dude, he claims that his brother-in-law is trying to get it expunged off of his record, right? At this point, it doesn't matter. Delaware can't go anywhere now. His face is plastered. Everyone knows him as an RSO, and even if it gets expunged, right? Because some states do have it, I believe. Do not quote me on this, but I do believe some states have it where if you are a minor and you plead guilty or are convicted of being an RSO, after a certain amount of time, it's expunged off of your record. I'm not 100%. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. But there are states, I believe, that are like that. Now, you might think that's crazy, but there's also wetlock rules where if you get I don't even really want to get into this, but if you get a child or a minor pregnant, as long as you marry them, it's not illegal, right? Like that still happens in the States.
This is a good question proposed. Do you think that whenever Jake the Viking, said that Jimmy knew, do you think he forgot? Or didn't account for the fact that his brother had this on his record?
I mean, that's like one of the biggest.
Just not care.
That's probably one of the biggest freaking lapse in memory. But maybe he just thought it was a way to take him down. I don't know.
I think there's enough. I think Jimmy probably knew, dude.
Wait, you can make a definitive statement on what?
If Jimmy doesn't know that he's hiring a registered sex offender, that seems insane to me. I need an explanation for that
But everyone keeps forgetting there's Mr. Beast the man and Mr. Beast the company. The question is, did the company hire them and then the company is liable, right? Whoever does hiring is liable. Or was he hired when Jimmy was still like mom and pop shop and was doing the hiring himself? That is the question that needs to be answered. At which point, then you know where to direct your ire to. Because if it was hired after he became a multimillionaire mogul with multiple different departments, hiring goes through like HR or whoever does the hiring. They're the ones who are responsible for doing the background check. If it was while Jimmy was still mom and pop and he was meeting and hiring everybody himself, it's a little bit more, you can offer a little bit more leniency to the fact that how is he going to do as a person? How is he going to go and do a background check? You can't just request the records, like the sealed records, because anytime you get into any legal, any type of a legal situation as a minor, they're almost always records are sealed. So how is he going to get that?
Yeah. So the best example for this is with Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk to their companies of Tesla and Amazon. Jeff Bezos is not going to be held directly accountable if Amazon hires a pedophile. If somebody within Amazon, the hiring management or whatever, hires somebody who is a bad actor or a bad person or a bad employee or who acts in bad faith, that person would be blamed upon the company. They would have been liable, not Jeff Bezos himself. There's a difference.
Right. It's like even at my company, before I was hired, there was a technician whom would go around not placing down the wires for troubles to come in on audio detectors. So that way, troubles never came in. You never knew if something happened to the audio detector, you would never know. Like,
it caused a liability.
Right. And the company wasn't held liable for it. Dude was held liable for it, so he was fired. Like you can't blame the entire company for somebody being a freaking piece of shit. You know?
The nuance in this is trying to figure out, did Jimmy hire him or did Mr. Beast hire them? It's a whole other, it's like you said earlier. The nuance is finding out that specific thing, because that's wherein lies the trouble. Because if Jimmy knew and Jimmy hired him, that is purely, okay, Jimmy is liable. Jimmy does kind of have a fucking moral system here, and he harbored this issue. Whereas if Mr. Beast hired this guy, Jimmy's not at fault. It's whoever's in the hiring management. It's company liability. It's not Jimmy directly.
Right. The worst part about this is there was more cognitive thought between the two of us debating on this than there is on fucking this entire 2.5 hour debate.
No.
Almost seems worse.
Well, wait, so you're saying you can't make a definitive statement on that based on circumstantial evidence?
Didn't you?
I thought you just said you can make a definitive statement on that, because that's what I said. You shouldn't do that in a video because it muddies up the water.
I think
of confirmed facts and not facts and circumstantial stuff.
Well, circumstantial evidence, if there's enough of it. I mean, I thought John Swan was a liar from the beginning and I had no proof, but it's just his fucking lie is so fucking absurd, right? Like, so you can think somebody's a fucking liar if there's enough circumstantial evidence. It just has to make sense, right?
Well,
I mean, it's all,
you've got
you're right, to a degree it is speculation, but
I think that distinction.
Law. I don't know about Dr. Disrespect, right? I can just hear what he says, though. And
exactly.
Right?
So that distinction is important to mention, though, because it's like, for example, it would be a fact or whatever that if Jimmy said himself or whatever the fuck, like that he admitted to it, versus, hey, look at this case, look at the circumstantial evidence to go and show this. But I felt like you just made a definitive statement on circumstantial stuff.
If Jimmy doesn't know that he hired a registered sex offender, that is almost... Is that as bad? That's almost as bad for me, I feel like. How do you not, like, it's your own company, you don't know who the fuck you're hiring?
Yeah, it would be...
Yeah, I can't. That argument falls so flat.
True.
That argument falls so flat. I can't back Willie on that.
It has some truth, but at the same time it doesn't. Like, you have to understand that this is a big company. This is not just like like we said, it goes with the context and the nuance of like when and how he was hired, not necessarily like that he was hired.
Right.
It has to be something where it has to be under something of where if Jimmy specifically handpicked this person, that's a problem. But if Jimmy and if one of his lackeys, one of the people beneath him hired him and thought, here you go, this is a good guy I've hired, I think, and they didn't do the proper vetting, that's not Jimmy's fault. That Jimmy was like, hey, I don't like having him in his videos, like
Right.
There's way more nuance to it than just feelings.
Right, and yeah.
Be a different critique, but regardless, it's just whether or not you can say a definitive statement on something that you that you haven't confirmed.
But here's my issue with Luhrix. It's like, well, were you there when it happened? And it's like, that's not the best argument to have when we're talking about allegations, where there's nothing at this point has been confirmed outside of the fact that like he cheated on, or not he cheated, but like he did illegal gambling and all that. Like even the LaQuoya Johnson, all of that's allegations. The hiring is the fact that an RSO got hired. That's 100% fact. Who hired them is an allegation. You know what? Like Mr. Beast knowing about Chris Tyson, that's an allegation that's not been proven yet. And everybody's going to be mad and be like, oh, well, there's no way you can't know. And it's like, how many times do you see somebody get arrested for like being a mass murderer or something? And then the wife is like, I never knew. Like people can hide shit easily. And it's even easier to hide shit from the people you know, because they never expect you to do those things.
As a human being, you know how to manipulate your traits and your nuances and your habits to make yourself seem undetectable.
Well, it's not even that. It's just that nobody would expect that of you. Like nobody gets in, almost no one gets into like a relationship, whether platonic or romantic, thinking that this person's a fucking, pedophile. Yeah. Like
that's what I disagree with. The thing is, it would be a different critique where then you would go at him for saying, hey, what the fuck, man? You hired this guy and you didn't have the appropriate vetting processes. That's another critique.
Does anyone believe that Jimmy just doesn't know on this? Are we serious?
Well, I'm saying you could say that it's
we don't
likely,
know. That's the thing.
But it isn't confirmed.
Right.
That's at least my take. You're saying it's likely, like if I was
I would bet some money on it that dude fucking knew, dude.
That's cool. Yeah, if I was betting too, I would say he knew as well.
Right, I would too.
Stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of an autistic critique.
But I sure as hell am not going to put myself in the firing squad, in the crosshairs of litigation by saying it's a definite 100. There's no fucking way.
I don't think it is. I'm trying to undermine it right now, but I think you should not say a definitive statement over something you can't confirm.
Yeah, I don't remember what I said. If it's definitive,
that's never a good statement. I don't remember what I said.
It's hard for me to feel bad about that because it just seems like there's so much. But all right, I could hear that. I could hear it. I don't know if I necessarily agree. I think there is a barrier of circumstantial evidence where my opinion is thrown to like.
Okay.
Okay. Enough, I guess,
Here's the thing, though. So
I wouldn't want a court of law to necessarily operate that way.
No. Okay, here's the thing. So WillyMac, if you made a video, okay, this is gonna be a broad example. Here, I'll use someone else.
Yeah.
If Dr. Disrespect makes a video saying I'm a pedophile, that is something.
He kind of did. That's the thing.
It wasn't a video. It was a tweet.
Yeah, he kind of did. I don't know, man. He kind of did.
Confirmed in a fact. So definitively, you can say in your video.
Look at even WillyMac's laughing because he's like, he kind of did. Like,
yeah.
This guy said that he's a pedophile. He's a pedophile or whatever. Versus Dr. Disrespect said these circumstantial things to make me safely assume the fact that it's probably like an 80% chance that he was aware. I think that's a very important distinction you should make, because if you don't make that distinction, you end up undermining actual facts that have been confirmed.
No, it's not. Surely if I just state out why I think the guy's guilty, that's enough, right? I mean, our audience cannot be that stupid.
Well, I just think...
Dead score, we all wish Dr. Disrespect would have just shown the messages. We all wish it. Trust us. Everybody and their mama wishes he would have just shown the damn messages. It would have been done and over with.
All I'm saying is...
Disrespect is lying, and I think he messaged a minor, right? And I lay it out and give all of the reasonings in it, and then I go, yeah, this guy messaged a minor. I mean, come on, that's like fucking... I'm showing the whole logical tree. That's what the whole video is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. All I'm saying, all the critique comes down to is that if you're going to like say a definitive thing, it has to be confirmed. That's the thing. I feel like it's pretty simple.
Why I think something is this way.
Yes, if I can lay out my case for why I think somebody is this way, and but 100% like confirming it is a different story, because we don't know that with Mr.
Fucking
Beast.
confirm it until I have like the fucking messages, obviously, right?
Right.
At the end of the day, this is our argument versus feelings versus facts.
Well, I mean, he's pretty much saying, oh, you should put more of a disclaimer saying that this isn't 100% proven. This is all of the reasons why I believe this. It's not been confirmed. Whereas I think if you watch WillyMac's video, you kind of you get that. I don't know, maybe it's just the critical thinkers who understand that, but it's one thing to be like, okay, I feel like this is what happened, and all of this evidence right here, all of these messages, all of these videos, all of these testimonies, all of these things make me believe this. And he does, in my opinion, an okay enough job, and a good enough job to where anyone who's critically thinking and critically assessing his video is going to turn around and be like, okay, I get that.
He's making an educated guess, but I understand what Luhrix is trying to say. Like, he's like, you're making an educated guess and you feel a certain way. You should be definitive in what you should make sure you disclose that. And I agree with what you're saying. Like, there should be this disclaimer of like, I may feel this way and I may be making an educated guess and this isn't proven, but this is how I interpret all of the evidence we have so far.
Right, exactly. It's kind of like with Actman, who he wishes when he did his Payday 3 video, he wishes he would have done more to turn around. And he's even said it, like, I should have in the beginning put out a better disclaimer saying, hey, this is in the beta, the game might be different. And he got completely torn.
Actman, by the way, he's a good guy.
He's a good guy, yeah. He got completely torn apart when Payday 3 came out because they royally fucked that guy. I feel bad for him.
9 times out of 10, he's an honest guy. He's always been a relatively honest guy. Even whenever he's had a mid take that I don't necessarily agree with, he's the least honest on his part.
Dead score, I do agree. I kind of agree. I mean, if he is, Mr. Dr. Disrespect, the Age of Consent is a huge bit of a troll, but it's like, he might be waiting to use those messages. Maybe they exonerate him. Maybe he's waiting to get all this litigation together and it is what it is. And he really was doing 4D chess and all of this, that, and the third. But it's been months. And it's like, I know litigation moves slower than, federal mail, but we just kind of have to wait and see. He might be taking the route of hoping nobody asks anymore eventually.
But the problem is, as it stands right now, we have a literal tweet where
saying he did it. Yeah, like it's 100% confirmed that he texted a minor and it led to inappropriate. Listen, if he didn't mean for the bigger fish, that's entirely true. He could be waiting for the biggest fish to come out against him. And we're not taking that off the table. Like we said, based off of everything it is right now, it's like damn near confirmed, in my opinion, that he was inappropriately talking to a minor because he said it. Could that have been him cussing them out in DMs? 100%. Could that have been him saying S my D, jokingly? 100%. The issue still is that you're a 30-something-year-old man talking to a minor in a platform called Whispers, so it's kind of like, it gets dicey. Listen, as men, if you do not know this, once you hit 17 or 18, you are no longer judged by society, you are no longer allowed to talk to somebody younger than that. Like, it looks completely weird. It's like if you're in your 20s and you still go to the winter formal. Like, it's not a good look. You can't be out here. You can't be out here spawn camping. You know what I'm saying? Like,
at some point, I need people to understand like a fucking level of have some sort of level of like media intelligence here, don't I?
On YouTube, Willie, you're expecting a little too much.
For instance, when Hassan says like this is a JDAM for sure that hits Israel, and he's covering breaking news.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And it was Israel that did the JDAM. Right?
Shout out to the worst political commentator to ever exist, Hassan.
Right on the hospital. That's crazy because people are covering him for breaking news. He literally has no evidence in any direction for when he says that thing. Right? So that's what makes that bad. It's not just simply what's it called? It's not just simply like circumstantial evidence. It's like he's literally fabricating the information live on air.
Can you hop on my screen share real quick?
Yeah.
So, do you know what year these DMs or these tweets were made by Ava Chris Tyson?
2022, right?
So 2022. At that point, was Jake the Viking fired from Mr. Beast?
Jake the Viking is no longer working at Mr. Beast at this point.
Yeah, and Delaware. So in 2022, they weren't working at the thing. So the reason why I think it's important to nail down the timeline is because these DMs, these tweets alone from Ava Chris Tyson doesn't go and prove that Jimmy knew about it and then hired him. Like, if Jimmy knew about it and then fired him, then that's whatever.
And that's a W. Like, finding out that he's an RSO and then kicking him, like that's a W. And no matter how much you hate Jimmy for whatever reason, that's a W. That's him standing 10 toes down on his morals, even if he was like, damn, I really like that guy, or even if he didn't care that he was one, right? I'm not saying you did, not saying anything, but even if he didn't care that he was one, firing him because of the fact is that it's completely centered around kids, you have to give Jimmy that W. Now, I'm not saying that's how it happened.
They have literal toys.
Yeah, they have literal toys, dude. Like,
but did he know about it and then continue to hire him? That's the thing.
That he hired him.
Well, Luhrix, you can't continue to hire a person. You can only hire them once.
Yeah.
Yes.
And was told up front about it. And then this shows people at the office actively know.
So yeah, that's the claim from Jake.
Do we have proof though that when Jake the Viking was hired, or when Delaware was hired, that he was upfront about it? Like, is that an assumption, or was there somewhere like evidence showing that like he knew? Like
that's an accusation from Jake the Viking. Jake the Viking said that, this isn't verbatim, but Jake the Viking said something along the lines of Jimmy knew when he was hired and was given the full explanation as to Delaware's circumstances to the plea deal, and was aware that Delaware was looking to go ahead and get it expunged off of his record. That is what Jake the Viking has said. Now, mind you, this is still the man who knowingly allowed his RSO of a brother-in-law to be hired to a company completely and utterly dedicated to children. Make that what you will.
Yeah, there's still weirdness there.
Yeah.
This shows, though, that people at the office actively knew. This wasn't like some under wraps thing. People knew.
A thing in 2022. What I'm saying is that there's plausible deniability that you can't 100% say this.
Afterwards?
Yes, that they all knew afterwards after they fired him. Yes, because it's just Jake's testimony. So based off of... No, that's just true. That is true. There is that plausible deniability. That could be a timeline.
I guess, but it would mean that Jake is using his brother-in-law to make Jimmy look bad when Jake is actively trying to protect his brother-in-law. Right?
But it also makes him look bad. Like, it's a double-edged thing. He's trying to protect him because it's going to make him look bad, but it's also going to make his brother-in-law look bad. It's going to make him look even worse, seeing as how he knew and allowed the guy to still get hired. Like, it makes Jake look terrible.
The thing is just based off of Jake's testimony alone, I wouldn't be confident
again, dude. I know.
yeah. I wouldn't be comfortable saying that confirmed thing.
With what I said there.
Yeah.
Wait. So that means Jake is using protecting his brother-in-law on one hand and then using him to beat Jimmy on the other, is what you're saying.
I don't know if it necessarily would look like that, but the thing is that all it is, we don't have to keep getting into this like autistic thing. It's just whether or not you can make that confirmed thing based off of this guy's testimony alone. That's all. It's the first like autistic critique.
No,
that's
okay,
all.
That's fine. Look, that's fine.
Gotcha.
We could move on.
They do a lot of circles.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
On topics.
I'm noticing
there's
that.
A circumstance where Jimmy doesn't know. I'm not sure if I believe it, but we'll have to see.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So, and then with the Delaware mask thing, yeah, you saw that and you put out a tweet. I don't think
that's true at all anymore, dude. Yeah, I don't think he wore that. I think he wore the mask as a bit for the video.
Yeah. So I guess that would be another critique of your video because you said definitively that like he was wearing a mask to hide his identity purposely.
Yeah, I was rolling with the fact where,
which to be fair, if you had that on your record, yeah, I don't blame you for wearing a mask, I guess.
Yeah, but Again, the most egregious thing WillyMac did is coming up right now.
Said it, and then Dogpack showed the video of it, and they said it's in a bunch of videos. So I was like, all right, well, and that was just one of the claims where I was brushing through the video and trying to tackle things where I thought, well, and here's a picture of him as a registered sex offender. So I was sitting there like, all right, well, this guy's fucked. So here it is. And then it wasn't until like a couple days later, I was looking through the videos personally. I was like, I see only one fucking video with this dude with the mask on.
Yeah.
And
that was another
so
example.
I don't think that's true at all. And I think that is something that's going to come back.
So if you didn't catch that, pretty much what WillyMac just said is that he trusted Dogpack 404 to have done his research.
Which at this point, we all can understand that Dogpack 404 is a little...
Yeah, I'd say that's the biggest thing against WillyMac on his video was trusting Dogpack to do any sort of research.
For sure.
Yeah, that was another example of Dogpack like dishonestly framing it to seem Mr. Beast more guilty than he was. Like Dogpack completely just omitted information to make Mr. Beast look worse and to further bolster Jake Weddle's claim. And
yeah,
I hear what you're saying now, but I guess that would be like another critique of your video of you just saying it without doing enough.
Absolutely.
All right. So yeah, there's that thing. Then there was I think this goes into the Jake Weddle now stuff.
The main thing I saw you talking about was Ty-Or.
Yeah, we could. Do you want to get into that?
All right, this part is where I start steaming from my ears with how annoyed I get.
Now and then do Jake Weddle, or
if you guys don't know who Ty is the dude who came out with the video saying that that Mr. Beast basically needed to pay him for his pain and suffering for being in the video, where I think it was like sleep deprivation and all of that. Was that him or Jake Weddle? One of the two. One of those two losers just they'll get into it.
We could do whatever you want. Roll with it. It's your stream.
So I guess trying to remember. I think the main thing. Oh, I remember is that like, did you say? Here, outline your take on Jake Weddle. Like,
he's a loser.
Condemn Mr. Beast over Jake Weddle.
Say that again.
What is to condemn Mr. Beast over the Jake Weddle situation?
So what was there to condemn Mr. Beast is if this guy truly has not slept for 11 days.
Okay, it was Jake Weddle who was crying about participating in the thing.
At some point, you as a production, no matter how much money you're paying him a day.
That's right. Ty is the guy who Mr. Beast, not Jimmy, but Mr. Beast, the company, stole his idea, or allegedly stole his idea.
I want to become liable for this guy's
stealing ideas. It's a little.
Yeah, there's no, unless you have an IP on it, intellectual property, or a TM trademark or any of that. It's there's no litigation for
dead
it.
In the water.
Yeah, it's dead in the water.
Mental health issues this guy ends up having. After this. So if you're the production of Mr. Beast, eventually you got to go in there and examine that this guy cannot go in on any longer, especially if he's telling you over and over again, hey, dude, I think I'm ready to quit. I'm ready to quit. I'm ready to quit. At some point, you as a company are going to be held liable, just like he is
now. Hold on.
With the Beast games right now.
So I completely 100% agree with WillyMac here, and I'm going to explain exactly why. It is up to production to make sure that the contestant is in, and this is going to sound incredibly soy, but let me get through it, it is completely up to production to make sure that the person who's participating in these freaking dumb things, I'm sure it's really fun, but in these competitions, that they are mentally and physically capable of competing, right? Because you don't want somebody to go out there and have a mental breakdown on your show and then off themselves in Minecraft, because now you have a lawsuit on your hand. So it's 100% on them. And the reason I say that is even because in the Marine Corps, when we're in basic training, there were people whom were saying they had end game ideation in Minecraft during training, during basic. And even the staff sergeants, the sergeant, the company sergeant, all of them were to talk to the person. They were sent to medical. They were sent to be evaluated by a psychiatrist. They were given a couple of days in medical to go ahead and relax and take it easy in an effort to get them to a mental state to where they're like, okay, are you 100% sure you can't do this anymore? Do you want to go home? They weren't going to just throw them home. And they also weren't going to just turn around and be like, no, you have to continue. But I will say this. They make it abundantly fucking clear that you are going home because of this. You have your own little outfit. Anything and everything that could be used to harm you is taken away. You are only given sweatpants and sweatshirts. Your shoelaces are taken. Your shoes are duct taped together. You even have wording on your back letting everyone know that you are an end game potential in Minecraft. It's 100% you are identifiable as somebody who washed out. And that in and of itself, you may not believe this, but they encourage you to talk shit about them and talk shit to them. That's 100% true. Is that how Mr. Beast Games is ran? I don't know. But I'm going to be 100% honest when it comes to my military, when it comes to the Marine Corps. That's just the way it's ran.
So the best way that this should be held, like the best way it should be done, is if you've ever watched. Do you know the show Survivor, right?
Yeah.
You know, with Jeff Probst.
Yeah.
They have a very clear system on how medical works. If you are out in Fiji and you are competing in challenges, and at some point you get overheated, injured, or whatever, one of the first things they do is they give you an initial assessment. They will tell you what you probably need. They'll try to help you as much as they can without sacrificing the place of the game or without pulling you. When it gets to a certain point and they look at you and they give you, hey, do you want to be pulled from the game? Can you continue forward?
Right.
You have an option. You have an option. You may be in pain, but you will live. But then there's other circumstances where the show sees that this person is stubborn-headed or stupid or something along the lines of whether they're locked into the game or whatever, and they have a willingness to where they don't want to quit regardless of their health because money's on the line or pride or whatever. They will pull you from the game because they assess your health, they assess the risks, and they do not want to be liable. Right. Even if you're upset that you have lost your chance at $1 million, they'd rather value your health and your safety more than anything else.
Well, a lot of it at the end of the day is a CYA, but it's just like if you're a ringman for a boxer and then your boxer is just getting completely and utterly destroyed, you have a responsibility to throw in the towel and save your fighter. Yeah. And it's the same thing here.
There's a civil court going on with that. Civil suit.
So yeah, I think if that was the case, I guess it's a very hard time of believing that to be the case, given Jake Weddle is shown because Jake Weddle has been shown to over-exaggerate statements when his testimony.
Sure, but he has corroborating evidence. If it was just his testimony, it wouldn't mean anything.
What's the corroborating evidence? Him calling his mom?
Text messages. Well, calling on his mom for one.
I don't think that's a reliable source.
Well, sure, but it's something else. And then the text message from his employees' buddies during that time. Is the other Mr. Beast crew.
Oh, yeah, that was just him saying, like, he had, like, a bad experience or whatever. I guess, yeah, he did. It is to confirm that he did feel like he had a bad experience.
Doing, like, all that shit. So, like, yeah, it confirms something. It's not nothing.
Here's my thing. There's, like, a huge bar you have to meet to take away a grown man's agency from being able to, like, say no and say, hey, man, I'm not comfortable with continuing with this competition. And to, like, pin that on Mr. Beast is, like, to paint him out that he forced him or was, like, guilt tripping him and pressuring him so hard into the ability of not being able to say no. There's a huge bar you have to meet to get there and have that critique of Mr. Beast, and I don't think that was met at all.
Pause for a second. Grown men have agency. They do. But grown men are also stubborn. Grown men also want a lot of money, whatever it was they're competing for. Grown men have a lot of pride. It is the responsibility of the show to assess liability.
Yep. and not only that, but it's like, I don't think that there's a huge bar for assessing somebody for to take away a person's agency. I mean, I guess it depends on what you consider to be a large bar of it, but it's kind of like in the MMA, there's a multitude of videos of trainers who stop their fighters from trying to cut weight because of how unhealthy it is for them to do it in such a short amount of time. I mean, there's videos of like Chris Cyborg in her heyday where she's being dragged out of the sauna because she's like damn near passed out and sweating and isn't drinking water, isn't eating, isn't doing any of that because they're trying to, she's trying to make weight, or any of the other fighters are trying to make weight. Like it's up to the people around them who are put in charge of their health and safety to do it. Now, is it a toss up because, hey, on one hand you want to protect them, on the other hand you don't want to pull them too early? Yes, but at the end of the day, it's better safe than sorry.
Yep. A human life is more important than the show.
Yeah. And I don't agree, I guess. I agree that Jake Weddle completely overplays how little of agency he has.
Definitely.
And but also
and 100% across the board, Jake Weddle's a bitch, just saying.
So at the same time, like, as a production, you do become liable. If this guy proves that he can't sleep for this many days and he asked to have the lights off this many days, and then he ends up having insomnia problems leaking to that, like, I don't know how fucking true this shit is, right? But he seems to have some corroborating testimony with the other employee there that messaged him, and some of the editors there. Well, then Mr. Beast would be liable, right?
Yeah, I just have to see.
I also want to point out, I think Jimmy gets too much shit for this because productions do go wrong. That stuff happens. And I think he made an active attempt to try and fix it by giving Jake Weddle the extra 190K. And then if Jake doesn't take it and he puts I feel like Jake has put himself in a situation where Mr. Beast can never make it better. Which
of course not. Because if he makes it better, Jake Weddle no longer has an audience. If he accepts, if he had accepted the olive branch from Jimmy and took the money, even though he took 50,000 out of the 190, 50,000 he took because he figured he could write that off and spin it in a narrative. Nice car. Spin it off in a narrative that, hey, it's good enough, right? But if he does take accountability or if he takes accountability for his flaws and deads it with Jimmy and is like, okay, we're good now, guess what? He goes back to being a failed fucking comic. He's no longer Mr. Beast's victim. He's just the dumb comic who tried to make money off of allegations against Mr. Beast.
If he accepts the money, he goes back to doing what he does best. Or failing.
Not existing, yeah.
Either about Jake.
Yeah, the problem is that it is just like allegations. It is just allegations. Of course
it's allegations, bro. Of course it's allegations.
Well, yeah.
That's the shitty part about all of this is like it's all allegations.
Yeah, there's no definitive answers as of right now. And
these two grown dudes are arguing about allegations. It's well, I wouldn't say arguing. I mean, they're debating. Debating is different.
Yeah, it hasn't gotten too bad yet, but it does. Yeah. The issue is that when debating allegations, there's too many ands, ifs, or buts, and you have to navigate that minefield. You can't just start creating your own fan fiction about what happened.
Yeah,
but they aren't baseless allegations. There's corroborating evidence.
Yeah, but how much is it to like blame Mr. Beast? So, for example, like you also brought up the fact that like he was forcing him. I have to see what like the interactions looked like of this guy apparently losing 11 days of sleep, or at least like not being able to sleep. Like I have to know what that looks like.
How do you not know what the fuck that looks like?
Pretty obvious.
To like get the full story or whatever, because unfortunately, Jake Weddle has completely undermined any kind of trust.
Very true.
For him to tell the appropriate.
Forget any of his fucking word, dude.
That's important when it comes to testimony. His credibility when it comes to his testimony. It's his fucking mom. Are you trolling? It's his mom.
Got his mom lying on there, then well played. But my mom wouldn't fucking do that. All right.
I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. There's been many times I asked my mom to lie for me, and never has she ever done it. Not once, brother. And my mom would rather call the police on me than hide the body. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. Although I would not do that to her. I hide the body in Minecraft.
Yeah. Fuck about
Self-incrimination here. That's not.
Yeah.
And I don't give a fuck about Jake Weddle's testimony either when he's shown to discredit himself this hard.
You're conflating the character of Jake Weddle, which has done stuff that's criticizable, with fucking Mr. B, with like the fucking
no. Okay, here. This is what I'm saying.
Actual corroborating evidence he brings to the table. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
So I do understand what Luhrix is saying here. He's saying that, okay, on one hand, Jake Weddle has made himself to be out as an untrustworthy narrator. But at the same time, if you turn around and go, you know, you're an untrustworthy narrator in one aspect of things, but you say, you know, 1 + 1 = 2, are you immediately going to turn around and be like, oh, well, I don't trust you? It's like, no, because there's evidence to show that, right? And when it comes to Jake Weddle's accusations of what happened during the Mr. Beast games on Amazon, there is prior statements before coming out against Mr. Beast publicly that do show some support to his claims. And that's what WillyMac is saying. The fact that he had text messages with his friends, telling them and talking to them and saying how bad it was on set. If you're saying he did that weeks or months prior to making a video in anticipation of using it as evidence, then you're giving credit to a moron, and you don't want to do that. There's obvious, and now it could be his perspective, right? It could be him saying, this was terrible, I was treated poorly, blah, 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 blah. And that could just be the way he felt. But him having messages between him, his mom, talking to friends, and telling it shows that there has been a consistent narrative from him about this specific topic.
Corroborating evidence. The corroborating evidence is him having text messages afterwards saying he has blisters on his feet and he feels distressed. The corroborating evidence is a call of his mom. And then that's the only thing we have left to rely on is his testimony. And the reason why I put into question his testimony is because he has hurt his credibility to be taken seriously as an honest narrator by over-exaggerating and being shown to over-exaggerate on multiple occasions.
So just take the corroborating testimony with what he said then.
Exactly.
Corroborating testimony.
I was going to say separate your feelings from the facts.
Exactly.
Corroborating evidence.
You may not like the person, but it's like if it's factual or if it's at least shown that this specific narrative has yet to ever change, it's like, okay, you may be lying about these other things, but it is, I forget the Latin term, but it basically says if you're lying about one thing, then you're lying about everything. And shout out to Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. He talks about this a lot, but he does say that it's like if you lie, but that's lying on the stand. Right? This is just simply a narrative. Now, if Jake Weddle were to come out and there was evidence of him saying like, oh, it wasn't that bad, or I may have embellished, etc., then you wipe his entire argument away and you throw it out. Like, fuck that, you know? But so far, everything he said about his accusations of how Beast Games was handled, there has yet to be any evidence against him feeling that way.
This is the classic story. This is the classic story of the boy who cried wolf. This is somebody who is clearly in the past said, "Wah, this, that, other. Wah, this, that, and other," and then it gets found out that, you know, over exaggerated, not necessarily 100% the truth, etc., etc. And now we have a situation where there is possible evidence that, you know, what he experienced is true. But he's laid himself a bed that, you know, nobody wants to believe in.
Yep.
And unfortunately, while WillyMac is saying like the truth, I understand where Luhrix is coming from, because he's like, this guy's he's cried wolf, guys. Like, he's been crying wolf. Like you sure we're gonna fall for this again? So like this is a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing. Like, it really sucks because he may have truly been distressed, and he may have been truly fucked up in those days. But because he's had issues in the past and he's not been entirely truthful or over exaggerated, people are going to brush him off a lot more, and it sucks.
And not only that, but it's like they're just like Ken says whenever he like what is it? I forget the movie or whatever it is, but the quote of Scarface, "All I have in this life is my balls and my word." right?
There
It's
you
the
go.
same
There you
thing.
go.
Especially online. When it comes to online anything, your word is money. Like that's it. Like your character, your word, your believability, all of that stuff that's all you have. That's all you have on in this world for the most part. Like if you strip everything away from you except for your word, except for your believability, like you can go far in life. But once that's gone, once your credibility is shot, it's over. It's Jover, boys.
Take the shit
It's
of him going
over.
on about like, oh guys, it's not really even a choice when you're poor and you have to do.
Wait, can we take a look at this
You don't have to
corroborating?
do all that shit.
Can we look at these text
Yeah, let's do it.
messages? Did you show them in your video?
I think I did briefly, but if you want, you could just pull up the Jake Weddle thing, the Dog Pack 2 video.
Okay, yeah, I don't know.
Listen, if I'm gonna make a video, I'm not gonna use Dog Pack as my source.
Yeah.
I would want you to know, like, what do you think this case?
Shout out Chud Logic.
out,
I know
boy.
he's on screen. So it looks like he was actually watching the Chud Logic and Willie Mac debate.
Would look like, and what evidence would be shown when it would go to a court. Like, what do you think would start that? It would be stuff like this. This is how those cases would be.
Never forget, the floodgates open with P. Diddy off of accusations with corroborating evidence. Not hard, solid evidence, but testimonials, eyewitness accounts. All of these things are eyewitness accounts are notoriously unreliable, but it's more than it's a little bit more than circumstantial. And when it comes to the Jake Weddle issue, you're looking at civil court, not federal court, where the bar for evidence is lower. So whereas, this person said something to me and that's why I believe this, isn't really permissible in federal court, when it comes to civil court, it is. The bar is lower.
Start.
Yeah, so let's take a look at the corroborating evidence.
Yep.
God, look at that face.
That is something.
That is a man that you're telling me this man gets sleep? God, dude.
So
it's when it cuts to just Dog Pack talking. Yep, just like this.
Okay, you cool if you hop in the screen share? Can we just watch this? Okay, let's see what we got here.
Text that Jake sent me after this interview. This is July.
All right.
That voice, bro.
Let's see.
Yeah, they're speeding him up, but he still sounds stupid.
I should look good though. How do you get that off there?
So I just want to hop in here and show some text that Jake sent me after this interview. This is July 29, 2021, a few days after he got out of solitary. How are you feeling after a few days? Better. I still couldn't sleep, even a few days out, but I almost have my sleep cycle back on track. My legs and joints are good, but the blisters on my feet still hurt to walk on.
Pause. You
Medical
would
advice-
have this screenshot would prove to you though that this guy did have to run a marathon for a challenge, right?
Yeah, I was gonna get into the marathon thing later, but we could get into that now.
Okay.
So the thing is that
So this
he was
did
not.
happen though. He did run this marathon. This proves to you, right?
Yeah, so I've asked him about
So
this.
even though Jake's not a reliable narrator, this is still a thing,
Okay, here's the thing.
right?
And that goes back to Willie Mac's point. Separate how you feel about the dude from the potential evidence and allegations and cooperating evidence. Separate the two. Because Luhrix has to go ahead and give ground on the fact that, okay, yes, this corroborates the fact that he had to run. And Willie Mac is basically saying, okay, so you have to concede that he is telling the truth about this. Like you just because he lied, and it's a very harsh, nuanced argument to make that, just because he lied about this doesn't mean he lied about all of this. This isn't in a court of law where if you lie about one thing, it's expected you're lying about everything else. This is all allegations.
I had a conversation with him about this. I asked him about this specifically. These were like challenges. He was asked by like crew, like, hey man, do you want to do like Rubik's Cube? Yeah. So these challenges were not mandatory. They were a choice. And
they were mandatory if you wanted the money.
I think like maybe you could say a little bit, I felt pressure. But when I asked Jake Weddle about it, he was talking about his own pressures that I would not prescribe to being Mr. Beast's fault or responsibility. He was saying like, I have anxiety. I didn't want to let like Mr. Beast down and like fuck up the video or whatever. I didn't want to let my friends down. That's cool.
Do you know how many
man.
times people in Survivor would still continue to play with infected sores as well as like broke with injuries
Oh, just look at
because because they think they can.
Just look at the MMA. How many times have you seen people break their arms, break their toes, break their legs, break their feet, and they're still like, "Nah, I'm going. I'm ready to go. Let's do this."
What was the last fight that happened like 2 or 3 weeks ago where the dude literally had his face like busted fucking open?
Oh, that was a female, wasn't it?
Pouring down her face.
Yeah. And she still went. Yeah.
For that fight.
Yeah, that thing was, if you didn't know, it was like split from almost the middle of the forehead down to the nose. It was like a 2-inch gash on her face, and she was still fighting. And
the intimidation the intimidation factor. If I would have had somebody fighting me and they had a 2-inch gash on their face and they're still fucking fighting like that,
right?
I'd be like, all right, you're good. I get it. You want this.
Or just look at the I was about to say the Mendez brothers. Just look at the who's the Stockton slap dude? I forget his name. Diaz brothers. Just look at the Diaz brothers. They literally have so much scar tissue that ending a fight not bloody is unnatural at this point. Like they have so much scar tissue from fighting that anytime that they are in a UFC match, they almost bust out in blood. And most of the cornermen is just like, that's a normal thing. And they just keep going. Is it required for them to keep going? Absolutely not. If they want to win, it is.
But you cannot weaponize that to then blame it on Mr. Beast for it being his responsibility that you didn't want to let him down or whatever. If this guy's a grown men are given the option to say, hey, dude, I really want to help you out with this video, Mr. Beast, and I want to do this, but I don't think I can do a marathon.
So
I don't think I'm physically capable.
Went on like the Amazon Beast Game shows those. You realize that, right? If stuff still happens, you're still held liable as a show. So you do casting calls to make sure that the person you're hiring can handle this correctly. And as a show, especially Mr. Beast shows, you're able to go ahead and change the rules and adjust the challenges however you want to make sure something doesn't go wrong with this guy, right?
It's also why there's medical stop points in places like the Amazing Race or the Boston Marathon or any sort of, or Spartan run. Yeah, medical's on site.
Medical on site for Survivor. Like, you never see it. You never see the medical
because you're not supposed to, right?
But it's there. They always have medical on hand, ready to go.
Right, and there's checkpoints where people typically, especially on like marathons, there's checkpoints with medical on site, and they're like, hey, are you still good to go? Let's look at your feet, et cetera, et cetera. Go look at any like Spartan marathon runner's feet and tell me that like they're not in pain. Like there are people like I've seen some like people who do 24-hour marathons and stuff like that, and yes, they have the ability to do it, but you know why they keep going is because they've already done 2 of them, 3 of them, 4 of them, 5 of them. It's still up to the medical staff there that if somebody's like running on 2 broken feet to be like, no, you can't do this anymore, even though they might have the drive.
Sores on them. If their feet just have sores on them and they're just going to be in pain, then it's up to the runner at that point.
Exactly. It's not as black and white as Luhrix wants it to be. His ideology is, well, it's their choice, so if they want to keep going, that's on them. And it's like there's a level of culpability for Beast Games to have, which is why they're being sued right now.
To make sure that you're still able to do it. If they don't do that properly at certain points, that could become live.
A great example is Private Powell. If you've never seen what's the movie? If you've never seen oh my god, I forget the name of the movie, but Private Powell who goes crazy in basic training and shoots his staff sergeant and then himself. That's literally the issue here. That's literally the situation.
On Mr. Beast the company, right? How much Jimmy fucking had to tell of saying like, yeah, torture this
guy.
Okay,
I think to make this conversation easier, we should just talk about morals, because morally I don't give a fuck. Maybe.
And this is where I start going down the rabbit hole. Full Metal Jacket, shout out to Ken. This is where I go down the rabbit hole of what in the hell are you talking about? Let's switch from facts to morals. Because when you turn around and say morally I don't care about this, then just throw out the entire argument. The debate's
Let's stop
done.
debating it.
Yeah,
Stop
the
debating.
debate's done. If I was Willie Mack, the moment he said, morally, I do not care, it's like, all right, it's done. Debate's over. Like, there's no reason for us to continue because you could literally just turn around and say, I don't care about what you're saying because this is what I believe. Then it's like, what's the point of talking anymore? What's the point of debating anymore? What's the point of arguing my point or trying to give you my perspective? You cannot rationalize somebody out of a position they didn't rationalize themselves into. Like,
it's a bad faith position.
Yeah, imagine trying to have imagine going to a judge and being like, Judge, this is my case, and the judge goes, I really just don't give a shit. It's like, you can't have that take. You can't have it. It's like, convince me to care. That's literally
there's judges that have been fired for doing that.
Yeah.
There's judges that get old and they just don't care anymore, and they literally just start hammering down max sentences, and then they get found out like this person's got max sentence, this person got max sentence. It's been for 30 years, or been the last 5 years, they've only handed out max sentences because they don't handle the nuance which a judge is supposed to have. So they get fired.
And that's the issue, is that Luhrix's position from this point forward is convince me to care. And it's like, that's not Willie Mack's job. His job was to gather evidence and gather everything he could, all the information he could, put it into a digestible video and put it out. Did he screw up in some areas? Absolutely. You can't argue that. But to tell somebody, argue why I should care, it's like, fuck you. It's like, go fuck yourself. Straight up, go fuck yourself.
Lyric lost. As soon as he said morally, I don't care anymore. Yeah, you've lost. Like that. That just goes to show that you're not willing to listen to reason.
Yeah, you're not willing to go ahead and listen to reason. You're not willing to think about the nuance. You're not willing to do anything. Once you start saying, I just don't give a shit about your argument, then it's like, all right, fuck it. Then this debate's over.
Legally, yes, he could be held like accountable for some certain shit, but I'm just talking about morals. I don't give a fuck about legally, if he could get loopholed into.
But like to a degree, like he. As a show, you can't go ahead and be like, hey guys, like we're just gonna push everybody to fucking suicidal tendencies, right? That's obviously an extreme example, and this isn't that. But at a certain, you would acknowledge that a show is liable at a certain point eventually, right?
Yes, sure. I don't know about this case. Again, I think to make this conversation easier for both of us, because either of us don't know shit.
Imagine getting into a debate. Yeah, imagine getting into a debate and going, you know what, let's just make this really easy and just say, I don't care. It's easier for you. It's harder for Mac because he's the one having to defend his position. While you're turning around and saying, yeah, well, I just don't care about your position. Dude, I would be so infuriated. Like, if I was Mac, I would have been like, all right, it's over. It's over, bro. Like, there's nothing to talk about. I would have hung up. Like, there's nothing to talk about at that point.
About whether or not
for X amount of days in a row.
You're
probably liable as a show.
Either
100%.
Either of us don't know anything about the legal matters of this.
So, but if you that's just
let's talk about morals.
Lying there.
Fuck that.
Oh my god, we don't know the legal. Yeah, you've been debating them for the last half hour.
We don't know the facts, so let's talk about feelings. Fuck that.
Cases of people getting sued for being contestants on shows
because
the company's neglectful. That does happen.
Willie, I'm trying to say that we should have a conversation about the morality of it, because we are not.
Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck about morals? Your morals are different than my morals, which is different from somebody else's morals, which is different from freaking Joe Schmo's morals, which is different from Lucy Lou's morals, which is different from morals. Is shaped by the world you live in. A coke dealer isn't going to have the same morals as a freaking choir boy. So arguing morals doesn't do anything. You don't go anywhere. You just spin in circles.
Round and round. And exactly. You can go round and round and round in morals, because morals are so ambiguous.
And it's subjective.
Is talk about facts. He's trying to talk about facts. And Luhrix here is saying, I don't give a fuck about facts anymore.
Yeah.
Mac. I want to talk about the feelings. I want to talk how I feel about this. And you can't change how I feel about this, because I came into this argument already how I felt.
Mm-hmm. Luhrix is straight up saying, doing a fuck your couch to WillyMac's facts.
Fuck your mama, fuck your couch, fuck your feelings.
Yep.
You qualified to talk about like the legal thing of it, or do you? I don't know.
I don't need to be a fucking lawyer though to know that does happen. Okay.
True.
You don't have to be a lawyer, Lyric, to know that this is something that does happen.
Yeah, I just don't think it gets to the core of the issue. Like, yes, as I already said.
The core of the issue. The core of the issue is he liable for pushing this guy into a place where he can't.
Luhrix getting real Andy Pants gaming here and being upset about Willie Mac not talking about the things that Luhrix cares about. If you don't know about Andy Pants Gaming, he came out against the Act Man because he wouldn't talk about the small boobs in video games. That's not a joke. That's not a joke. He literally made a video about Act-Man calling Act-Man a cuck because he didn't talk about the boobs in video games. You can't make this shit up, bro.
Liable how? Liable legally or liable morally?
What does that mean? What does liable morally mean? I need to know. Let's just one more for the people in the back.
To a place where he can't.
Liable how? Liable legally or liable morally?
What does that mean, Luhrix? Liable morally? Are you going to the moral police? Are you going to go to moral court, get you a moral lawyer with a moral judge and get a moral victory? What does liable morally look like? What does it entail? What are the circumstances for moral liability? Do you have to take out a moral loan from the bank to pay off your moral taxes? What does that look like? What the fuck does moral legally or moral liability mean? Or liable morally mean? You know what moral liability is? It's your personal belief. It's you personally. Can you sleep at night? That is moral liability. Do you feel good about you as a person? Moral liability. That's all that. And it's obvious Jake Weddle feels pretty damn good considering he just got a paycheck for $50K. So morally, homeboy don't give a shit. He got paid. I've never heard something so fucking stupid in my life. Liable morally? Like morally liable. What does that mean? Like, I'm not even that much older no, I think I'm younger than freaking Luhrix. I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Because
well,
I care
legally
about
and morally, like that. It's hard to fucking argue that because
you can't.
It depends on your personal morals.
Exactly.
In that situation.
There we go.
Right?
Yep.
If you personally don't care, I can't force you to.
Done and over with. Debate's over. Debate's done. Debate's done.
Right there.
Yeah, exactly. Debate's done. There's no arguing anymore. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Right, but there are people that do care so much so that they wrote into the law, Luhrix.
Yeah, that's what makes the conversation interesting to see.
No, it does not make the conversation interesting to talk about morals. Because all it's going to be is, well, I believe this, and WillyMac's going to say, well, I believe that, and then nothing.
Nothing happens out of it, yeah.
Like what you care about or whatever. And
so I would say I have to hear Mr. Beast's testimony on this, but if it goes down the way the text messages corroborate, how his mom corroborates and how he corroborates, yeah, I think having this, like telling this guy to go run a marathon, whether he accepts it or not, it's optional or not, right? Is probably a little reckless. You probably shouldn't do that. So whether when he stays up 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days in a row and he can't sleep and it's because of the lights and he's routinely asking like, hey, can we turn off the lights, and you don't do it, dude, that's negligent. I do think that.
So yeah, like the thing I took issue in your video is that you said like they guilt tripped him into doing this. Like they guilt tripped him into doing this.
Productions lean on contestants to do stuff.
They do, but proving that he was guilt tripped is the threshold for that is insanity. You almost have to have somebody admitting to it in order for it to be proven in a court of law. Like there's almost no way to turn around and go, well, how, like to sue somebody over feelings.
You have
like
to have somebody who feels morally guilty to admit that they peer pressured somebody to keep going.
Exactly.
That's okay to some degree. I don't think that's always wrong.
Yes, but my problem is that like the main thing you're using that to show that he guilt tripped him into doing these is an unreliable narrator's testimony, which is Jake Weddle.
Well, he does have. Well, you're right. I don't know. We'd have to check if the show corroborates or these messages corroborated. I forget.
And you know what? Props to WillyMac for admitting that. You know, there's a lot of things. I'm listening to this guy talk, and there's been times where Luhrix has a good point. Like this doesn't have 100% like corroboration, or this doesn't have 100% fact behind it. Mm-hmm. And he goes, "Yeah, you know what? You're right. Like maybe we can take that off the table." And just right there, even though this guy just told him like I want to argue on morals, he still was willing to go, "You know what? You're right. We need to see if the show can corroborate some of this as well, rather than just his testimony." Because you're right, his testimony in the past hasn't been 100% reliable. I like this guy. I don't normally watch this guy, but I like him. I like just off this debate.
Right. It's kind of like when we made our Dr. Disrespect video, we had a multi mini paragraph, like I think it was like 2 or 3 paragraphs in the comments, and they were small ones, basically saying like, you guys don't know the entire truth. It could possibly be the fact that he did do this. It could also be that he's waiting, kind of like how Dead Score was saying, like, it's a potential thing. He could be waiting to drop the nuke, et cetera, et cetera. And I responded going, you're absolutely right. We made sure to not make any definitive statements, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I agree with you. He could be innocent. He could be doing a 4D chess move. And then underneath that, somebody just responds with pedo defender. Like, it's 100%. Like, you have to be willing to go ahead and be like, and admit and have morals and admit, we don't know the truth. This is where I'm leaning to because of all the potential or circumstantial evidence, but I'm not going to definitively say and open myself up to litigation by definitively saying that this happened. Whereas other people are going to be like, nah, he's 100% a pedo. I know it. I was there. I saw it. Like, there you
But I mean, you just think he's lying about the whole thing then?
No, that is not my position. I don't think he's lying about the whole thing. As I've had conversations,
he's specifically lying about in the sleeping thing. You think he was sleeping?
As I've had conversations with him, and
you think he was sleeping?
Conclusions I came to is that this guy has been proved.
Whoa, you came to conclusions, Luhrix? Did you have solid evidence for those conclusions? As you ask WillyMac, did he have evidence for his conclusions?
To over-exaggerate his claims.
So you think he...
Fuck. I pause-andied. I pause-andied. Yeah. Over-exaggerate his claims. There's toss and turn on whether or not there's evidence of that. Does he play it up and is very animated when he talks and does his videos? Sure. But have we had definitive proof that he over-embellished what he said happened? Not definitively.
He was sleeping.
I don't know.
Let me go back
with him, and the conclusions I came to is that this guy has been proven to over-exaggerate his claims.
So you think he was sleeping?
I don't know about that specific detail.
This is what you're being you're being a little bit of a coward here, I feel like.
Yup.
Where you're saying,
wait, how?
This guy over-exaggerates claims. I'll explain. You're saying this guy over-exaggerates claims. And then I'm asking, well, what specifically do you think is exaggerated? Is it this? And you're going, no. Well, that's what we're talking about. Well, about this, you might think that, right?
I'm going to be honest. If you haven't noticed, WillyMac will handle this debate way nicer than I would. He's way too nice of a man for some. And you have to think about this. Luhrix is under 20,000 subscribers. WillyMac is at like 2 million. If WillyMac really wanted to, it could have been Jover for Luhrix. He could have absolutely just ripped him to shreds. But WillyMac's a cool dude. So, and I'm not. Shout out WillyMac. WillyMac makes great videos.
About the sleeping thing? I mean,
do you think he's lying about that?
Potentially, and that's the takeaway that I got from my conversations with him. So
I mean, I guess I don't know.
But all of this comes back to like the core of this is like whether or not it was mandatory or like optional for him to do these challenges, right? And I feel like the way you framed it in your video was the fact that like he was forced or guilt tripped into doing this marathon.
All challenges and everything you do, work or otherwise, are optional, right? It doesn't mean the company is not liable. Luhrix, you understand that, right? That is this like basic.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, then
wait, what is that?
It's the same as if you were working for a company, a roofing company, and then you fell off the roof. Did you have the choice to not be on that roof? Absolutely. But it was your, and obviously this is different because it's your job, right? You're paid to do it. But yes, it's 100% that guy's responsibility to know whether or not he can continue. Sometimes people fool themselves in it, but it's still production's responsibility to make sure and take care of the talent. Regardless of how you feel about, Jake Weddle, he was the talent for that video, and it's up to them to turn around and be sure that all is well. Could he have overplayed it? Could he have overstated it? All of that is true, but there's no definitive evidence of that yet.
Wait, what does that change what I said?
It doesn't matter if it's if it's optional or not, the company can still be held liable for that.
Okay, are you talking about legally?
Oh yes, and you're not wanting to talk.
Do you think that?
Are you talking about facts? What the fuck? What, Willie? Why would we talk about facts? God, Willie, stay on the subject. God, we're talking morals here. Do you see his his disdain? His disdain.
Do you mean legal? That just
Yeah.
that made me shake my head. Do you mean legally?
Yeah, it's like, are you
Fucking
debating
nerd.
lyrics? Like,
Are you talking about legally?
the
yes,
disdain.
you're not
Look at that. Oh yes, yeah.
Do you think that's
a soundbite right there?
And Willie's like, oh, right, I forgot. You don't want to talk facts.
Wait, do you think that's an
Alright,
unfair
you're a
request?
Oh yes, and you're not wanting to talk legally. Well, dude, if
Do you think that's wait? Do you think that's an unfair
Feel
request?
that way. I can't convince you of it.
No, I'm here. Do you think that's an unfair request? Like, think of yourself as Mr. Beast. Would you hold yourself morally liable?
What is moral liability? What is that? What does that mean? And at no point in time do I think he does. I really hope he explains what the fuck moral liability means to him, because
I think I understand what he's trying to say, but what he's failing to understand is that a grown-ass adult is going to look at a situation and go, me, myself, is not responsible, or I'm not morally responsible for the sins of the whole. It's different if Jimmy went up to a person and shot somebody, but if somebody on Jimmy's team went up and shot somebody, it's not Jimmy's fault. He can't.
Well, you can even argue. You can argue that Jimmy did feel morally responsible, considering he offered Jake Weddle $190,000. That shows moral responsibility, that the guy felt bad.
Yeah.
He rescinded his statement against Jake Weddle, offered him the $190,000 that he said he was owed, and the dude took 50. So if anything, Jimmy has proven he felt morally obligated and morally responsible to make this guy whole.
Like a grown-ass man, and handled it.
Like, I still need to figure out what the fuck moral liability is, because God.
Yeah, I would say like, hey, and Mr. Beast must hold himself legally liable to some degree because he offered Jake an extra $190K, right?
So you would hold yourself morally liable if you were in Mr. Beast's shoes, and this is.
If I run a production and something goes wrong, well then yeah, of course that's my fault because I run the company. It always comes back to whoever is the boss.
Okay. All right. Well, that's how you feel about it. I do not think that.
And that's why you can't have a debate about feelings and morals and stuff like that, because, or at least not here, like not with this, because he just brushes it off and goes, okay, well, that's how you feel. And it's like, no shit. You're saying you want to debate morals. I can't talk about facts. Yes, that's how I morally feel. And your response is, I just don't care.
How many subs does this guy have?
19.5K.
You cut out.
He has 19,500.
I would never work for this guy. I would never
work
really,
for
man,
him.
I'd work for any day of the week. He sounds like if something were to happen while on the job, he'd be like, all right, let me take care of you. This guy, Luhrix? No, I would never fucking work for him. Nope.
They're like, oh, you just.
If you got hurt, you'd be like, well, not my fault. Anyway.
Yeah, pretty much. He would sit there and be like, HR? What the fuck is HR? What do you mean workers' compensation? I compensated him a job. Like,
how do you feel about
we're in the school of hard knocks, bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. Well, that's how you feel about it. I do not think that.
I mean, how do you feel about that? You think if you're the boss of a company, you're just like, not my fault?
Well, no,
Come on, Luhrix.
That's not what I'm saying. All I did was.
It is what you're saying. It's literally what you're saying. It's been your argument this entire time that he is not responsible. It's been your entire argument, brother.
Explain to the fact that you have to reach a very high bar of 4.
But you never explain what that bar is? You don't show a graph, some infomercial. You don't show any, like, what is it that determines that high bar of morality?
Seen someone into doing something that takes away a grown man's agency, and I think that bar was not met.
You're just talking about yourself, right?
Morally, yes.
It's like fucking dude. It's giving me end game tendencies mentally in Minecraft. God, dude.
Well, your personal morals, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Fair
that's
enough.
what
I mean,
most
we
things are
can't-
discussed about.
I can't convince you of your own personal morals.
Exactly.
Dude. It just is what it is then. Can we go to the next one?
Yeah, dude. I feel like all conversations are based off of that for the most part.
No, they are not. No, they are not. Okay, no one has a conversation of mathematics and goes, well, how do you morally feel about 3 times 7? Well, I just don't care about it, so I'm going to say it's 2. No, that is not how conversations most of the time go. Maybe
you don't go into a courtroom. You don't go into a courtroom where you've murdered somebody and the judge goes, well, do you feel morally responsible for this? Because you were psychotic in that moment.
Yeah, no.
You still murdered somebody, you son of a bitch. That doesn't say that you're just guilt-free.
It's interesting.
Just because you don't feel morally responsible, just because you don't feel like you're justified, or you feel like you were justified, doesn't mean you still didn't take a life. The same thing goes for this. Just because, regardless, just because if Mr. Beast did or didn't, like the legality, that's what WillyMac is trying to talk about. He's like, well, let's talk about the legality. And Luhrix over here, he's like, well, should Jimmy feel morally responsible? I don't know. That's up for debate. That's up for debate. You're not in Jimmy's head. But
pay attention.
If you look at the facts and you look at the fact that Jimmy already paid out money to this guy, he clearly did. He clearly did feel somewhat morally obligated to give this guy money, and that he had been justified in what his experience was.
Well, pay attention to when people make broad statements. It shows a lot about their character. Like when Blowback said that almost everybody turns into a hypocrite. No. You know who turns into a hypocrite? Hypocrites. You know who thinks everybody's hypocritical? Hypocrites. Crazy, I know. Why? Because they need to think that in order to justify themselves.
And it's not just those are the interesting conversations, not the strict ones on legal matters or whatever. So I don't know why you're. I don't know.
Yeah, they're so strict.
Yeah, super strict. I hate being restricted to things like facts and evidence. God, fucking, jeez, it's terrible. Why can't we just play pretend?
Kmplxity, don't you just wish you could just gallivant down the street shooting whoever you just thought looked at you funny? Oh man.
In Minecraft, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like undermining that, as if that isn't like what discussions.
Undermining what, dude? Well, it's tough because I'm saying like, as a company, I'm saying as a company, you are legally liable.
Yeah.
Agree for negligence, and you just say no. So that's the end of the conversation.
Yep.
I mean,
there's no argument.
Talk about morals, because that's, I feel like, the more important thing.
But that's the end of the conversation. How do you not understand this, dude? You're in your 20s. How do you not know this shit? It is the end of the conversation because now you are no longer arguing the facts of the matter. You're arguing how those facts make you feel.
Ridiculous.
So for you, at what point is a company legally
Willie,
liable?
the reason why I say it's more important to do this is because legally there's some fucking states that you could just like fuck a fucking like a 13-year-old or
No, there fucking isn't.
like 16-year-old. That's why we talk. That's why we only strict things down to legally. We talk things about morally, because even though you could fuck a 13-year-old in some random country, I don't give a fuck about.
How did we go from a state to a random country? What listen. America is not governed by the laws of other countries. It is governed by the laws of the United States of America. Nowhere in the fucking 50 states of America are you legally or morally allowed to fuck a child. Luhrix, where the fuck do you live? Because I need to put that on the map to never go there. I don't know what happened in your life where you think that's true.
The laws there.
He lives in La La Land, where morals and feelings are more important than laws and facts.
Lives in Lollyland.
You personally, at what point, personally for you, Mr. Luhrix, all right, is a company held liable?
Is a company held liable?
Mm-hmm.
To give you an example, I guess.
Challenge. So let's say we do an episode of Survivor, and this challenge is swim with sharks. You don't have to swim with sharks. and you go in there and swim with sharks and your leg gets bitten off, is that on you, the company?
Give the
Is
example.
that on you? If we do an episode of a reality TV show and it's just called Doing Crazy Shit, right? And I go ahead and I'm like, all right, we got all these contestants. They don't know what's going to happen. And they show up today. Hey, today, guys, we're already here on set. I flew them all out to this island to be on the show. Today, we're going to swim with sharks. And if you want to stay on the show, you swim with sharks. And one of them gets bit. Is the company held liable for that in your eyes?
Yes, because
What
then
the
I would have to
company's
see.
held liable?
So
You
there'd
just
have to be
talk
the
to
specific
yourself.
like precautions or whatever you should like probably take. The difference is with the like Jake Weddle situation is that we don't know the precautions that were taken because what we're relying on is an unreliable narrator's testimony.
Yeah, you just
But you're asking, but see, here's the issue, Luhrix. You're asking for evidence. You're asking for evidence of what occurred, but the person who's giving you the evidence of what occurred, you're turning around and saying, I don't believe you. Do you have reasons to not believe that person? Sure. But if they're the only one giving information about what happened on Mr. Beast Games, you're asking for a narrative, you're being given a narrative, then you're turning around and saying, I don't care about your narrative.
don't believe that the lights were left on. And you
Okay,
couldn't sleep.
I think I've given
That is what
justified
this comes
reasons.
down to.
I think
Try to boil this down, right?
I think I've given justified reasons why Jake Weddle's not a reliable narrator. Do you think he's a reliable narrator?
So no, I think
So
some
no?
things no, but well, I think some things no, right? Like when he goes ahead and he talks about why he took the money or didn't take the money, I think he's lying about a lot of those reasons,
Right.
right? I don't really trust him on
Provably lying.
that front. When it comes to him being in the challenge treating him badly in the ways he says, where it's like not like Guantanamo Bay fucking shit, right? But in terms of him saying that they don't turn off the lights because of a time lapse shot, and when the other employee is checking in on him and they talk about the blisters and his mom calls and she testifies like basic aspects or corroborates basic aspects of the story, then yeah, I think those are reliable.
Okay.
I think the lights were definitely left on. There was an ice cream machine, I do think, right? And I also think that that he ran the marathon. Those are all basic things that I think seem reliable.
That he ran a marathon, that the lights were kept on.
Yep. And
Well,
he couldn't sleep.
well, we know that those things happened. It's just
Okay.
who we
then that's
prescribe
it.
the blame
Basic facts.
to.
It doesn't matter the rest of that shit.
Who
Doesn't
we
matter if
prescribe
he
the
fucking lies
blame
about this
to.
other random shit.
No, who we prescribe the blame to on those situations and like what circles around it is what's important.
Who do you
Like, for
blame
example-
for leaving the lights on, Lyrics?
I don't know about the light example.
What do you mean you don't
specifically.
know?
That's probably the
Only
best thing
one
to
person
critique.
runs the production. Only one company runs the production. Of course, it's the fucking Mr. Beast company.
Well, oh no, yeah, of course it's somebody. I thought you meant like Mr. Beast himself or whatever. Like
Yeah,
the thing
well, no,
is like the
Mr.
light
Beast-
example is the best. The thing is the light example, the best thing to get him on, and that's something 100% I want to see addressed by Mr. Beast. The thing is though, is that who are we trusting to tell this narrative? It's the reason why I can't make a confirmed statement. If I was a betting man, yes, I would say like it's leaning towards more the fact like potentially this could be the case, but I can't trust Jake Weddle's testimony alone over someone who's an unreliable narrator.
It's not a
That's what it is.
testimony alone. There's corroborating evidence.
Okay, let's go back to the corroborating evidence. Let's take a
Yes.
look. Okay.
Take a look.
Let's see.
God, that dude. Fucking dog bag.
Text messages. All right, let's see.
July 29, 2021, a few
You
days.
in the screen share?
Yep.
Oh fuck. Wait, I'm not even sharing my screen.
No. I was just looking at your stream here, but yeah. Let's
Here,
do this.
I'm going my
Here,
screen
can I
share.
grab water? Can you hold it for a real second?
You got it.
I need more water.
So I will say this because they're gonna bring up like the text messages and his mom and all that. It's definitely more difficult to go ahead and get family members in as a corroborating witness, but it still will be presented as witness testimony. And not only that, but his mother, you can turn around and say, oh well, his mom might lie for him, etc. His mom might lie for him, etc., etc. Yes, but under oath with the threat of perjuring themselves, with the threat of perjuring themselves or herself looming. It's like, is she really going to take that risk? Because if she's found out to be lying, now that goes against her son and her, and she could get a hefty fine or spend time in prison for it, right?
And then it throws out the entire case.
Not the entire case, but it does make it a lot harder. And it's an issue of people trying to make arguments about legal standing that they don't know anything about. I'm not a lawyer, but I do know that if somebody's telling a firsthand account of the way a person looked and felt and seemed, right, then that's gonna happen. That's the way it is. That's why, like, people who get attacked or people who get into car crashes or assault victims, they ask, what did the person look like? How did they seem in that? What did their mental state seem of that nature? I mean, obviously that one would probably get sustained, but it's like, what was in their eyes? And it's like, well, the way they looked at me, they were coming in an intimidating way. There's eyewitness testimony to corroborate what he was saying. Is it from his mom? Yes. Is it harder to believe somebody like that because obviously they're going to want to do everything they can to protect their child? Absolutely. But it still makes an issue.
Luhrix, my girlfriend says you're wrong, so take that.
Your girlfriend thinks I'm wrong? Based.
It's over, dude.
Dude, let's fucking go, man. All right, let's see.
All right.
What do we got here?
Days after we got out of solitary. How are you feeling after a few days? Better. I still couldn't sleep, even a few days out, but I almost have my sleep cycle back.
What?
This is, if he has these messages from 2021, I still couldn't sleep. This is corroborating evidence.
Yeah, so this is him.
He was not sleeping. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so this is him back saying that his sleep schedule was fucked up.
This is more than just his basic testimony in the
corroborates both.
Video, right?
So what this goes to show that
the sleep issue.
Yep, because he was stating this stuff prior to going public about it.
He had similar.
There was no narrative being written here in the public eye. This was all behind closed doors.
Their opinions back then, 2021, when it happened. Yes, that's what that does show.
This guy is validating that.
Well, let's see.
Back on track. My legs and joints are good, but the blisters on my feet still hurt to walk on.
Let's see with Dogpack 404.
Just not to lance them and just let them go away with time. I'm mentally still in an uneasy place, but I've gotten back on better help. My therapist is a little concerned, but we are working on things. Reminder, this is not supposed to be a traumatic life event. This is supposed to be a Mr. Beast video. Hey Jake, hope you're doing okay. Meg and I just wanted to check in on you. Hey, I'm good and I appreciate that. I'm not exactly 100%. I feel like mentally I'm still recovering a bit, but back in therapy and my therapist is concerned. Haha, but my legs and joints feel better. Like I can walk, but my feet are still covered on those blisters and those hurt to walk on. But I was told the best thing to do is stay off my feet and let them heal. I'm in Raleigh with my family. Also, it'll be like a month before I get the money, and they aren't giving me all the money. They're giving me what I won up to that point in the game, which was also a slap in the face, but hey, I'm out, I'm alive. Therapist who knows and cares about you. The whole thing was so fucked, and honestly, fuck them for not giving you the money. Meg and I are wishing you the best with your recovery, and please feel free to reach out if you need anyone to talk to or need a place to crash.
So far, the
therapist now too. Now that's secondhand because that's according to this guy. This is another corroborating person.
Wait, what did you say about the therapist?
Therapist who knows and cares about you. The whole thing is fucked and honest. Like this person saying the therapist, right?
Well, this is Jake Weddle saying I'm back in therapy.
Therapist who knows and I thought he was talking about the therapist. Okay, I read that as the therapist that did the psychiatric evaluation on him in the challenge. Is this person talking about his therapist?
So he says, I'm back in therapy and my therapist is concerned.
And then this person says, therapist who knows and cares about you.
Well, they're saying
about Jake Weddle's current therapist.
Yeah, they're like saying, get you like a therapist that like knows and cares about you or whatever. That's like what that
is. I could see that.
Yeah.
Meg and I are wishing you the best with your recovery. Okay.
Yeah, so like you're saying corroborated, which there could be more. We'll see.
This person is corroborating.
But so far.
Right?
Wait, what do you mean when you say that?
Like this person understands that situation is fucked. Right?
Wait, okay. So I don't know what you mean when you say corroboration. So what we have corroborated.
Oh my god, you're telling me that this entire time he doesn't understand the idea of like what a corroboration is. Corroborating meaning they agree. They're saying that this story matches up with the other stories. Both stories line up. You're telling me now he's going to debate the idea that this is saying that this corroboration is not like his version. Like,
I think what it is he's trying to attribute this, and this is the way I was interpreting it while I was listening, is he's thinking this is an Amber Heard situation where she told her friends a story and they retold that same story. That's not the case. He is telling them, hey, this is what happened. And the simple fact that and again, this is alleged. We don't have proof of it. But the simple fact that he is alleging that going on the show landed him back in therapy gives weight to the fact that he was mentally fucked up during the game. Like, I'm not saying Jake Weddle is a lot of things. A lot of things. He's a loser. He's an idiot. He's a moron. He's a soy boy bitch who shouldn't, like, he's a terrible comedian. A lot of things. But you can't argue the fact that all of these text messages are years prior to him coming out publicly.
And the accusations that he made.
All right. Hey, Dead Score, get the best to you too, brother. Get some sleep. Have a good one. Thanks for coming out, my man.
Really, for real, man. Appreciate you.
It's not the same thing, right? See, it's not like Dogpack went to freaking Jake Weddle's mom and was like, hey, retell his story, or went to freaking Megan, whoever this is, and was like getting Jake Weddle's account through them. That's not what's happening. This is corroborating evidence that Jake Weddle said something or went through something, shared it with somebody, and it proves that his narration, his story about what occurred during his time on Beast Games is the same. It hasn't switched up until evidence comes out showing that he was like, oh yeah, I over embellished, or I was lying, or et cetera, or hell, maybe they released behind the scene footage where none of what he claimed happened. Then we turn around and go, okay, he's a liar. But as of right now, there's nothing but cooperating evidence that what he said happened.
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect them to. So what we're taking a look at right here is that Jake Weddle in 2021, a few days after the whole incident, he's saying, I have blisters on my feet, my feet are hurting, and my sleep schedule was fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what he's saying. Sounds like he's telling people about that, and he's told his friends about that, and they're just saying like, damn, bro, that fucking sucks.
I guess, was this person supposed to be a Mr. Beast employee? I forget. Who's he texting here?
Let's see.
And I knew it would. And I wanted to. I feel good.
This is July 29, 2021, a few days after you got out of solid.
Yeah, okay.
Right here.
I feel good though. How do you get that up there?
So I just want to hop in here and show some text that Jake sent me after this interview. This is July 29, 2021, a few days after you got out of solitary. How are you feeling after a few days?
So that Jake sent me.
These are just text messages.
So we don't know who these are to. These could just be
then.
his random friends. So let's keep it going.
So hold on, is it in Jake's own video where he talks about text messages from his buddy? Or from the other employee?
Do you want to check? I don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to check.
We can check right now.
I had more stuff pulled up when we were.
To be completely honest, it doesn't matter if he was texting his dog or he was texting Jesus Christ. It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is that he's had this narrative since then. It's not changed. He has, and no proof has come out that he is lying about what he's saying. That's what's most important.
I thought we were going to talk yesterday, and that I didn't expect right now. So I don't have everything pulled up.
You're good. We could just go to his channel.
Yeah.
Jake Weddle. Let's see what we got here.
The video is called like Uncut, Big and Uncut.
Yeah, it's like the million one. Let's see.
Did his video get 1 million views?
Yeah,
The only one
1.4.
that got a million views.
So he doesn't show
That's just
any
him talking to
text.
his mom.
He doesn't show any text messages. It's just the mom thing. Wait, can we quickly watch the mom thing? Because you
Is
say
this
like
all
a
about the
cooperating
video
evidence.
that was literally the one guy in solitary confinement for so long.
Yeah, that's Jake Weddle. And
bro, I watched that shit when I was high, and that that was fucked. I you know what? And like maybe I wouldn't say it was a little bit biased, but like I was wondering about this even when I was watching it. I was like, man, like this solitary confinement for extended periods of time, it's gonna mentally fuck with you. Like,
oh, absolutely. That's why
I wonder, like, I didn't, they don't show very much behind the scenes in the actual show. So like
right.
the fact that he's trying to, this guy Luhrix is just being so blunt, or not blunt, but like being so passive, or being so what's the word I'm thinking, crass, about the idea that something like this for this amount of money couldn't have possibly fucked up this guy's mental health, let alone his actual physical health. It questions his morals a little bit to me as well.
Well, I mean, it's everybody knows that solitary confinement can fuck with your mentality. Literally, it was sleep deprivation has been studied by the CIA and used as an enhanced interrogation technique.
It is, yeah.
Like, that was part of MKUltra. It was a sleep study on what could keep people awake the longest in order to cause a psychiatric break. Like, and what would get them there the fastest.
Sleep deprivation eventually puts you into a state of delirium, and a delirious state is a state of vulnerability that can be manipulated and used against you.
Yep. Not only that, but you can die from not getting sleep. Your organs will shut down. Like, it's now we're not saying that was the level of intensity, but it's like Luhrix is turning around and going like, yeah, but that's kind of like his own problem. And it's like, yes and no, though. Like, there's more nuance to it. It's not like
just turn off the fucking lights.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I see what she says here? Is that cool?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you for watching, and algorithm willing, I'll be around, so like and subscribe. All that jazz. Appreciate you.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
Mom, can you do me a favor?
I'm not gonna lie, this part right here where he talks to his mom is like, it's hard to watch because it's a massive cringe.
Well, yeah.
Do you remember when I came home from that challenge I talked about on the documentary?
Yes.
Describe my physical and emotional state.
Oh my gosh. Well, it was pretty awful. Hang on.
And you know what's funny is that in a court of law, that is literally a question a lawyer would ask. Can you describe can you describe the defendant's physical state at this time? That's literally what they would ask. Now, of course, they would ask mental, and that could probably be objected by prosecution or the defense, whichever. But if they have the ability to provide corroborating evidence as to why it is that was their mental state, it will be accepted. Not all the time, but it will be. Can be, I should say.
Well, no. I just got to turn the TV off.
Right, this is important. Yes. Oh, hold on, Jake. Let me turn the TV off. Survivor's on, honey. Hold on 1 second.
No, it was brutal. And you called me from there, and I mean, you sounded like you had, you did not sound like yourself, and you were talking about how your feet were bloody and blistered, and you could barely walk. I think it was days before you could actually walk like a human, and you were psychologically struggling. I remember you talking about how the fucking ice cream machine sound would never stop.
So what she's referencing is Jake calling her on the phone.
This is what Jake
calling
said
her on the
after
phone.
The challenge, right?
Yeah.
She's agreeing that this is what Jake said all the way back then. So
Mm-hmm.
unless you're just saying this is all a lie, and he's kept this lie up for this long, knowing that this shit would all come to light is crazy.
Exactly.
You know?
Well, this is just showing that he said this before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, consistent statements. That is what goes into effect. It's what goes into effect if this ever reaches litigation. They would ask, has he made prior statements? Yes. Have those prior statements been consistent? Yes. Can this person be relied upon as a reliable narrator in this instance? Yes. Like, it's almost like Luhrix doesn't understand how laws work or how the court system works. It's almost like he's like, but how do you feel about this?
Care. It's just that he doesn't care because he cares about the morality of.
But even so, if it comes to morality, it's like, well, you're pushing your lack of caring of morals or your high standard of morals onto Mr. Beast. What if Jimmy has a lower threshold for moral liability, as Luhrix likes to say?
And then like we're bloody.
Don't you think does that mean anything to you or no?
Yeah, it means a little bit. But also like the broader point as well here is like, what is the blame we put on people for, if that makes sense? So like this corroboration evidence.
The blame is, I don't think the blame is as severe as Jake makes it out to be. Jake makes it out as like the blame is Mr. Beast is torturing poor people on camera to do like poor people torture
dance
porn or something.
Dance poor people.
Dance monkey dance.
Like, hey, dude,
like he's a marionette.
Go wrong when you're trying to do quick turnarounds for video ideas. This is a production that went wrong. So Mr. Beast should properly pay Jake for that.
Here's the end all be all of this argument. If Jake Weddle had offed himself, there would be no question. There's no question at all. If he had offed himself because of the alleged issues that he raised with Mr. Beast Games or this challenge, nobody would be arguing moral culpability. Nobody would be arguing whether or not it happened. There would be a full-on investigation about it because he went to an extreme due to what happened to him or supposedly happened to him. Like, you wouldn't be arguing moral liability at this point. It would be legal liability.
Yep.
However that is decided. And I think Mr. Beast giving offering any extra money to Mr. Beast, to Jake, which he did, I think more than makes up for that. No.
So you think that like Mr. Beast should have paid him the full amount for the struggles?
No, I don't know if the full amount, because an extra 190K seems like a shit ton.
I mean, the guy got paid $110,000.
Yeah, maybe enough for like the therapy. Well, that was for the basic challenge, which Jake did survive. But maybe like then covering like his therapy and like a couple weeks off, whatever his normal job would pay.
If $110,000 doesn't cover your expenses from what you made at your job and your therapy, you have worse financial freedom than Bo Black's.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know how much therapy bro needed, but if he needed over $110,000 worth of therapy, yeah, I don't know.
Something along those lines. I'm not sure. We'd have to. I'd have to see like what a fucking lawyer would claim, or some shit on that.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, look, dude. I have a lot of sympathy for like we tried to run this production and shit went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That does happen. You know, so it's the same with the Amazon Games thing. Like they tried to do a production, shit got out of hand.
Or just look at Travis Scott in Astroworld. Everybody blamed him because of the deaths that happened at Astroworld, because they were liable to make sure that the attendees had proper medical attention. It's that simple, dude.
And they pay out whatever the or don't pay out depending on whatever the litigation ruling is, and then you move on. You know,
yeah. So this is
the Mr. Beast or that he was trying to torture anybody.
Yeah. So of course, all of like this broad point though is to say that I want to make definitive statements in your videos to like say that like this guy was fucking guilt tripped into doing this shit when we're just I don't think you have enough evidence. I don't think you have enough evidence. Right? I don't think you have enough evidence to back up like those definitive claims you're making.
I'll agree with that.
Corroboration evidence shows that.
So you just think, I think there's a
definitive
evidence to say that.
Statements you just say, I'm making an educated guess.
Yeah, and that's literally all Luhrix really has to do is just say, or should have just done is say, I think you should have been better with your disclaimer. That's it. Been almost
an hour and a half of this.
Yeah.
2 hours.
Freaking running around in circles, debating fifis.
down there
Debating
with the lights
DPs.
and with the fucking marathon, no?
Corroboration evidence of like him saying it back then?
Yeah.
I mean, sure, a little bit, but I would just need more to like know a definitive statement.
Yeah,
like we need to
so you just
hear
think that
the other side. We need to hear
but-
the response from Mr. Beast first before like making a definitive statement about this guy, especially coming from a guy from Jake Weddle. That's the broad point.
I guess.
But
Okay. I
All
mean,
right.
look, dude, if you think that again, like I can't change your mind on that shit.
Exactly.
But then you've gone though from companies are not liable from this to now you just don't believe them, right? Is that where we're at now?
no, I haven't switched anything I've said. What do you mean?
So would you think though if that stuff did happen, Mr. Beast should be liable for that?
Should be liable in a legal way. I don't know what that would look like.
Sort of moral, or like it would just be like, or him even just paying out.
If
in
everything
the,
that Jake Weddle said was true, then yeah. But
just,
we
let's
don't know.
just say the lights. Let's say it's not this like fucking manufactured torture porn.
Well, yeah, because that's the worst thing. If the lights thing ends up being true, then yeah. Because the way he's
But then
describing
you
the
would on that then, right?
yeah, but what I'm saying is that there
Okay.
isn't enough evidence to confirm that, to make that definitive statement. But if it is true that like this guy literally kept the lights on for 11 days
If
straight,
he was
and they
lying, do you
knew,
think Jimmy would
and
just,
they
would just give him
knew,
money?
and they knew that
Right.
Jake Weddle was like purposefully
For
like,
real.
That's a legitimate that's a legitimate question. If he was lying, why would Jimmy have offered him 190K? That sounds like a massive payment to pay to give to somebody who you know and can prove is lying. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
he wasn't sleeping, and that
So
they
do
went
you
out of
think
their way
Jimmy
to
would've
ignore
offered the
that,
money if
and that's
all of
bad.
that was a lie?
Yes, I think that, of course that makes him look bad before putting out a public response.
Why?
He does that, but okay.
Why?
Um,
Why? Why? I hope Willie Mac presses him and asks him to explain why. Because I cannot for the life of me think about myself considering paying someone almost 200 grand knowing they're fucking lying about me. And provably lying about me. Like, that doesn't make sense. Who does that?
It's unlikely, but what do you mean? Of course he's gonna play the PR game, though. Of course
But
Jimmy's gonna do
he's-
that
dude,
because if you have
how
some
many
guy like
employees
making a
has
big
Jimmy
statement,
called liars over the past
Yup.
4 or 5 years.
And let's also not forget that Jimmy retracted his statement against Jake Weddle on his allegations. Don't forget that.
but the
It's not
problem
like,
is like
Mr. Beast and Jimmy. They have these big production value games, but they don't like. He's not rolling in money like that. Like just because you think somebody comes for money doesn't mean they have $190 or $190,000 just on standby for payment.
Oh,
Like,
I'm
that's
sure
no
his
business.
I'm sure
No
his
business.
company puts at least 100 grand, if not more, aside every year for litigation purposes.
Yeah, but no company's just gonna want to pay that out just to shut somebody up. Like in this case, that's not how companies operate. They're gonna want to fully investigate this shit.
The time when they do it is if it's more cost effective to settle out of court. But here's the thing. If Jimmy, Luhrix is literally saying Jimmy would knowingly pay this guy almost 100 or almost 200K knowing that he was lying. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
No.
Literally, he would have to do absolutely nothing, and freaking the Weddle would have to file a lawsuit against him. Somebody paying. This is what happens, right? If you pay somebody, they're gonna say you paid them to be quiet. They're gonna say, "Oh, you're guilty." They're gonna say, "Da da 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 da." It doesn't help him to pay the guy.
the biggest thing was Jake Weddle was in the second dog pack video that has fucking 12 million views. So I think for
So you're
PR
saying
reasons, there is that plausible
he's cowering to
deniability.
this, but he didn't cower to any of the other employees. Not even Ty. Ty's got 1 million views.
No,
He didn't
because
cower to
the
that.
Jake Weddle thing is more of like a bigger claim. So I felt
And if
like
that just wasn't, Jimmy would rather
took it
have
as a
people
bigger
think that's
priority.
true. Jimmy would rather have people think that's true than to just address that.
Right. And not only that, but it's like, how bad does it look for a production for potential people to come on the game show in the future if Jimmy is copping to the fact that this dude was basically tortured? That doesn't like it doesn't help it doesn't help him. It also will boister bolster, whatever the fuck. It'll also push the people who are currently suing Mr. Beast and Amazon for the Mr. Beast games. Because now, if it went to litigation, they could point to it as, hey, Jimmy paid this guy who accused him of basically torturing him. It doesn't look good.
Well, he said he's going to be addressing everything and like after Dogpack releases everything.
That's true.
All I'm saying is it's open up to nuance and different interpretations to not make a firm conclusion based off of something that isn't concluded.
I mean, I think, look, dude, I think some shit went down there. If you don't, okay, we'll have to see. But
it's possible, but I'm not going to rely on
I feel like
the corroborating evidence shown, and I'm not going to rely on Jake Weddle's testimony. But okay, we can move on to the next section.
You don't believe it. That's fine. Let's just move on.
Okay, we got
That's literally how every conversation is ending. You don't believe it? Fine. Let's move on to the next thing you don't believe.
Next is
yeah, it's a complete net negative. It's just wasting your time running in circles constantly because you're trying to argue morals and you can't.
I think this was the last thing. This Ty Ower guy, right?
Yep, Ty Ower.
So
I have seen your opinions on this.
Yeah.
And I guess my main point is, do you think that this was not for the same video?
Do I not think that this was for the same video?
Yeah. Do you
His
think
ideas?
what Ty worked on in that whiteboard was not for...
If you're unaware about Ty, this is basically he's accusing Mr. Beast Games of stealing his idea to have the world's deadliest obstacle course. The obstacle course that was almost like Mario-esque in the air. And it's crazy that Luhrix thinks that there's more evidence to prove freaking Jake Weddle's claim than there is to prove Ty's claim. It's insane.
For the video that came out.
So the pitch, let me pull up his pitch. It should be, I got an image of it in Discord here. To look at the whiteboard. Got a screen cap of this.
No, but yeah, do you think that that was not for the same video?
This picture there.
No, it could have been for that video.
Well, it is that same video, right? That can't be argued.
Yeah, there was like this 2 to 3 minute increment at the beginning. That, yeah, you could safely say.
Well, no, you could say it because the title on the whiteboard is the title of the video. So that's how you know it's the same video, and that cannot be argued, right?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up.
Okay.
Let's see.
It's called World's Most Dangerous Obstacle Course.
Okay, yeah. So this is what we got 4 months later. The meme with him, the whiteboard. Oh yeah, this was his other idea that he wrote down in his thing. So okay, let's go. Okay, now we got it. Okay, phrase your thing again. Let's start. So was it used for this video? Yes. So this world's dangerous obstacle course. So there is the first 3 minutes of this video that resembles what this guy showed on the whiteboard. So for example, it is
I
platforms,
know exactly what this is.
the hammers, and then monkey bars for 3 minutes. And then for the rest of the 28-minute video, it's completely unique ideas that were
It's definitely not unique ideas
brought up by other people.
It's 100% not unique ideas. What they did is they took existing ideas and put it in the sky. That's what they did. Like, it's not unique. And guess what? I guarantee you the person who said, hey, let's just take all these ideas and put it in the sky got paid.
Probably, yeah.
Why does that matter?
Because the way you were framing it in your video wasn't that case.
The way I framed in the video is that Ty's ideas are implemented to a T.
Implemented to a T. Yeah, well, for yeah, okay. So for
200 feet in the air,
2 minutes. So
no harness, and there's a nut.
Oh, it was only 2 minutes, you guys. Only 2 minutes, guys. We didn't meet the threshold of 201. If it was 201, Ty would have got paid. But because it was 2 minutes only, fuck him. He doesn't deserve the multi-million dollars or the hundreds of thousands of dollars he should have been paid.
For it's $100,000 a challenge, going up to $800,000. We have Mac be the main character. I mean, dude, it's casted the same. It's the same thing. You, for some reason, think, like, here's what I don't get. Why would it ever have to be the whole video?
Exactly.
Like, do you think they make a whole video?
It's the same thing as, like, people who make symbols or trademarks They get paid. Do you honestly think that the guy who did the Apple trademark didn't get paid? Who didn't do the Amazon trademark didn't get paid? Do you think that, you know, whenever it comes out, whenever there's trademarks, logos, insignias, catchphrases, like, people get paid for their work. It doesn't have to be the entire video. It doesn't even have to be more than a second of the video. If it was your idea, your intellectual property that they're using, morally, because Luhrix is wanting to argue morals, morally, you should pay them. Legally, you don't have to, obviously.
The day over there when they plan?
No. Why would it ever have to be the whole
No,
video?
of
Well,
course not.
of course, that would show the severity of it, though. For example,
Severity doesn't make any sense. It would show the severity of it. Now we're trying to attribute some sort of freaking system, some sort of tier list. Well, it wasn't severe enough. The theft of thought wasn't severe enough. You see, it was only 2 minutes worth of stealing somebody's idea. It wasn't 20 minutes of somebody stealing somebody's idea. So it just doesn't matter. I agree with you. I would never fucking work for Luhrix. God damn.
the example you give to Chud Logic is like if you hired somebody to write a full script and they gypped your script, then obviously you would feel like fucked over by that. That wasn't the case. There was...
You wouldn't feel fucked over by that. You would have been fucked over by that.
Yep.
Imagine the riots that would happen if, like, the person who wrote Harry Potter didn't get paid for it. Obviously, we know it was, you know, she ended up being some psycho loony bitch. But imagine had she written Harry Potter, right, or J.K. Rowling or J.J.R. Martin, and they did and wrote, you know, freaking the Dragon show, House of the Dragon, and the other one, I forget. Imagine they wrote those books, they turned them into movies, and they turned around and just went, you know what, J.K. Rowling, we know you wrote Harry Potter, but fuck you. We're not paying you. The lawsuits that would have happened, because it's already an intellectual property. She owns that intellectual property. The simple fact that Ty didn't own this intellectual property should not be the reason why it's okay to steal from him.
A briefly an uninspired idea that was used and implemented to a video, which, by the way, the
idea, that is so fucking stupid.
Exactly.
Oh, it's monkey bars. Monkey bars, dude.
His idea wasn't, hey, put monkey bars in the video. It was put monkey bars in the video, 200 feet in the air, on an obstacle course. Like, there was more to his idea. It wasn't just, hey, throw monkey bars in the video and we're gonna get 1 million views.
And it's in the video, right? If he just said fucking Mario and that was it and he walked away and the board just says Mario on it, well, that's useless. That's not anything.
Exactly.
Everything I'm about.
The obstacles, people get paid for that. You realize that. That's what the job is.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be like he doesn't have to reinvent monkey bars. If he pitches monkey bars and the monkey bars go in the video.
So I don't think it makes a meaningful difference when this guy is flown out to perform. He's supposed to be there for a skill check, and he gives some ideas. And he gives us ideas appropriately to try to get the job. And these ideas.
Does this guy not think that Mr. Beast doesn't have a team that sits literally in a
exactly?
Boardroom? All right. So do you think the people that come up with the ideas, there's got to be like a bonus? Like, if you
there's a think tank.
Think of an idea, yeah, a think tank. If you come up with an idea in that think tank and you're the one who gets like a video made out of it, you're gonna get a bonus, not the other guy, because the other guy didn't think of it.
Exactly.
There's a whole team around it, because guess what? Your thought made this idea into reality. Your thought made Mr. Beast and the company money. You should, in turn, be rewarded for your contribution to said video, even if it is just one obstacle course or one section of a video.
There's a reason why producers get money. There's a reason why there's royalties. If I can't imagine, it would be like, you know, the craziest thing about it, right, is that if Luhrix had done a video and then someone did the exact same video, just word for word, bar for bar, I guarantee you he'd turn around and be like, yo, what the fuck, you stole my video. And it's like, no. You just had the idea. You just had the idea. He would be hitting the copyright strike so fucking fast.
Monkey bars and other platforms with hammers swinging.
Video, Luhrix. It's there. His work is in the video. It made it.
Yeah. All right? So I don't think this is a meaningful problem.
What does that mean? What is a meaningful problem? What does that mean? It's not a meaningful problem because I don't care about it. Well, if you don't care about it, why are you debating it? Why does it matter? Why are you bringing it up? It's
because
hold
it
on,
also
what
goes to
is
show
issue-
because
what
the
is
broad
issue
point
here with Mr. Beast.
This guy gives me a headache.
Okay, so the broad point that Ty Ower is laying out is that Mr. Beast's business etiquette is poor. He has poor etiquette, and I don't think.
And here's the other thing. They're still attributing it all to Jimmy himself, as if Jimmy's in every board meeting, every staff meeting, every little, huddle, every freaking, every time that there's, talk at the scuttlebutt, they're talking as if he's there. He's not. He has people for this.
This alone goes to show that.
I guarantee he has an entire department for this shit.
Because even, for example, in this case, this guy got flown out and then reached out to Mr. Beast afterwards. Hold on.
But I just want to point out, you keep saying that.
I'm making a point for the etiquette. Hold on.
Okay.
So this guy flown out, and then afterwards he had to make some arrangements for like his dog to get a sitter or whatever. $400.
That's insane. I don't know what type of dog you have, brother. Get rid of it. $400 for a sitter? Unless he was there for like months or weeks. Like, I don't know, bro. Throw that, like, get you one of them automated food dispensers, dude. And automated water dispensers. Like, I don't know what to tell you. $400, bro? That's a medical bill.
Brought this up to them in an email, and he was like, hey, I had to do this for my dog. Do you think you guys could cover this afterwards? And what did they say? Oh, dude, no problem. Here, I got you.
Cool.
I'm going to give you this. So that is...
It's almost like moral liability played into effect here.
Going to show that
that's
Mr.
great.
Beast's etiquette isn't this unethical thing. And I don't think this is a meaningful enough point to undermine that.
Well, the ultimate claim here is that Ty
Damn, what a freaking pause.
They liked it, right?
You can feel the brain. You can feel his brain.
They liked the challenge enough to fly him out and test him for a day. In that day, Ty gave ideas for a video that they end up going forward with.
Yo.
And Ty's goes, well, then they flew me back home, and then that was it. I
didn't get it.
Anything. So Mr. Beast probably doesn't owe him a job, right?
No.
Because I don't know, that seems fucking insane. Like you're forced to hire someone, but you probably owe him for that day's work. No, if his job is to pitch ideas, he pitches ideas that then make it in the video. Well, then he should probably get paid for it. And the idea that Mr. Beast posts thumbnails that have nothing to fucking do with anything, they don't actually prove anything. Well, then, isn't that like kind of crazy that Jimmy's just lying about the whole situation?
So,
saying like this guy didn't belong to, or this guy pitches bullshit because look, we have thumbnails from a year ago. Well, that has nothing to do with the actual pitch that's on the board.
It doesn't 100% confirm it, but I don't think that makes like Mr. Beast to be like an unreliable narrator or like a liar.
This dude is like literally waiting for Beast to come out, for Jimmy to come out and go, yeah, we stole his idea. That's like the only thing that's going to convince him that this happened.
Yep.
Of course, it wasn't like bulletproof evidence to show that.
Evidence of anything, you realize that.
Well, it wasn't bulletproof evidence to discredit everything he's saying inherently just on that. Yes, that is true, but it is more supposed to go show that they were workshopping
never even
this.
really worked on the video with that, right? That's what he's implying.
Wait,
don't you think that?
Wait, where did he say that?
Well, he didn't. He posted images to Drama Alert where he said, well, we had these ideas in 2023, as if Ty didn't contribute anything.
He absolutely 100%. He absolutely 100% implied that by saying we already had these ideas, he's going ahead and saying that this dude didn't inspire them, didn't give him the idea. It's almost as if Jimmy is saying, or was saying, when he pitched it to us, it reminded us that we already had the idea. That's literally what it sounds like. And even then, there's still a moral gray area to argue that the guy should be compensated at some point, to a degree. Mr. Luhrix of morals over here, and he doesn't even see that argument.
Implication. And meanwhile, Ty has evidence of the whiteboard that he was working on and his resume showing that this stuff did happen. He did work on this video. Here's his ideas.
So an unpaid like trial to see if this guy like gets hired for the job, I don't think the ideas that this guy brought to the table is meaningful enough for him to be compensated for that.
But when
I
you
disagree.
say that, the ideas are in the video, right? So you understand that.
But if that's the case, give an example of what you determine to be a meaningful idea. What is a meaningful idea in your eyes, Luhrix? You're not explaining that. You keep saying, I don't think this, I don't think that. Congrats. It's not about what you think, it's not about what you know, it's about what you can prove. That's it. It has nothing, it doesn't matter what you think, it doesn't matter what you know. Sadly, it's all about what you can prove.
That is not true. There is value brought there because they're there in the video.
Yes, I would say that. I think it would matter depending on potentially what the idea is, because in this case specifically, because there is like nuance to it or whatever. If you bring forward like the fucking Harry Potter book idea, I think there is more of a meaningful case you can make that it's like a
video in some
it's
ways,
unique.
right?
Hold on. I think if you like bring the concept towards like this big like Game of Thrones fucking story or whatever while you're in this trial period, and then somebody like gyps that completely of you or fucking social networks you. Yeah.
Dude's acting like a storyline about freaking dragons is some original work. Like, there was movies and TV shows just like House of the Dragon, just like freaking Game of Thrones. Like, there was movies and TV shows and plays and books about all that stuff long before there was House of the Dragon, long before there was Game of Thrones.
What he's forgetting is that there's fair use. There, like he said, there is nuance, but there's also fair use. You can take an idea. If Jimmy's team would have took the idea and not used the exact same idea that was pitched, that's a completely different argument. But because they used the idea and they almost used a carbon copy of the idea, that's his idea.
And even if it's not his idea, maybe it was inspired by something else, they're still utilizing it in the way he was talking about implementing it in a video. Like, it's just not all 2D side scrollers are made by the same company. No. Is there inspiration? Yes, but they put in their own flair, their own thing.
And takes your idea and whatever and gets millions. Like there's more of an argument you can make. There's more of an argument you can make there that it's like a unique idea and a unique thing that you're giving to this company. But in this case, I don't think it reaches that bar for it to be a meaningful problem.
What other YouTube video has this done, Luhrix?
Good question.
Wait,
if it's so ununique, what other YouTuber has done this challenge if it's so fucking overplayed?
What other YouTuber has used monkey bars and platforms of swinging hammers?
200 feet in the air, in the net, doing swing hammers, monkey bar, $100,000 for every new challenge you do, going up to 800K, where we hire Mac to do it.
So this is 100% an uninspired idea from the bottom up. Like, do you want to take a look at it? This is literally monkey bars.
He's the one who brought the idea, and it's in the video. You keep saying it's uninspired. It doesn't matter how uninspired it is. If it's done, and the job is done, and the job gets implemented, he should get paid for that.
Exactly.
It shouldn't be free. Don't you think? Don't you think that means something?
I don't think it makes meaningful.
At what point do you go to work, Luhrix, and you go, like at whatever job you've worked before, and you go, well, you know what? I only sold, 10% of today's sales, guys. So don't pay me. That seems silly, dude. If it's in the video, like this, there's entire teams that work on this shit for a reason.
Exactly.
Everyone gives a small percentage. At the end of the day, you still should be paid for that. In my opinion,
there's
right?
two
Obviously,
things.
Legally is probably not, doesn't have to do fucking anything there.
There's two things. I see your perspective because, for example, like it's the nuance of how much. Wait. Yeah, I think I got it. So it's the nuance of how much someone should be compensated based off of how unique of an idea this is. So you're saying, for example, it doesn't matter if this guy brings forwards a Game of Thrones plot or just uninspired slop monkey bars. He should still be compensated for the appropriate time.
You're
is that
really
what you're
on
saying?
these monkey bars, dude. It's clearly not a bad
Do you want me to reference
idea,
the other thing?
It's
Platforms
clearly not
and
a slap idea
swinging.
if it's in the fucking video. If they don't have this idea, and then he adds the idea and it goes in,
Here,
that's valuable.
I think there's a core.
Right?
There's a more important like core issue.
What if I come up with Game of Thrones and they don't use the idea at all? Do I get paid because it's really unique? No,
Wait.
you get paid for what's implemented.
Yup.
Right?
Wait, say that
The
again.
value is what's implement. If I come up with all of Game of Thrones and then they tell me no, I don't like that idea, should I still get paid? Even
It's crazy how throughout this entire debate, Luhrix has been arguing morals, and now the one time that freaking Willy is turning around and making a moral argument, Luhrix is turning around and saying, "I don't think so." It's mind blowing. It's been over an hour of Luhrix trying to say, "Let's argue morals, let's argue morals, let's argue morals," and now Willie Mac is making a moral argument. And Luhrix is turning around and going, "I just don't give a shit." Like, it's fucking
The roles are so reversed.
the
So
roles
weird.
are exactly like Willie Mac is turning around. Hey, hey, shout out to Links in the chat. But it's like, how is it that you're turning around and going, "Let's argue morals," and now Willie Mac is turning around and saying, "This isn't a legal argument. This is a moral argument. He should be compensated morally." And Luhrix is turning around and going, "Yeah, but can you factually prove that he offered this? How did we get here? How did it reverse? How did the swing set turn around? That doesn't make any sense."
How the turns table.
Exactly. And the worst part about it is neither of them even realize it.
Nope,
That's the most
not here
important.
anyway.
Hey, Mayor McCheese. Shout out to you in the chat, brother.
What's up, Mayor McCheese, brother?
No, of
Here's
course not.
no. Here's the thing. This is what I was trying to get to. So you think it doesn't matter depending on how unique of an idea it is or how strong of an idea it is.
It doesn't.
You should get paid the amount of same for the amount.
100%.
Correct?
Yep.
No, you should. If you go there on an internship, not an internship because it's not even that. I wish if it was an internship, it would be better.
It would have
Right.
been, yeah.
Yep.
But if you go there to work and prove that you can work with the team and your ideas get implemented
Yup.
because you did a good job as your job as an idea guy,
Yup.
well, then you should get paid for that day's work. Otherwise, that's kind of shitty.
Okay, so
Yep.
you're
Look what
just saying
companies do
but they're
as
not-
interns. That's literally like interns, like companies that allow interns. Well, they have like powwows. They're like, all right, what do you guys think? You know,
Mm-hmm.
and they will talk to those interns, be like, what do you think about everything you've heard so far?
Oh,
The
well,
interns
they,
will give their ideas, and if the interns come up with a good idea, or they find a solution to a problem that the company's having,
Mhm.
or to an immediate problem that's what's happening within the company, they're like, hey, you know what? That's a great idea. Here's a little bit of headed your way.
Well,
That's
it's
just how companies do it.
here's the thing. Lyrics is trying to argue and say, "Oh, well, it's an unoriginal idea." You want to know what else was an unoriginal idea? Jurassic Park 2, Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic Park whatever the world was, the Jurassic Park end of the world. Anything after Jurassic Park 1 was an uninspired quote unquote idea. It was, but you know what happens? You know what happened? The guy who said, "Hey, let's make Jurassic Park 2," he got paid. The guy who said, "Let's make Jurassic Park 3," he got paid. The guy who wrote the script and came up with the idea for Jurassic Park 4, he or she got paid. And here's Luhrix going, "You know, this idea has been done before, so I don't really see why he needs to get paid." There's 10 Fast and Furious movies, and all 10 of them, in every single movie, the person who came up with the idea for that movie or the concept surrounding the narrative of that movie got fucking paid. The only difference here is that Ty was not an employee of Mr. Beast. Therefore, he was not he doesn't have legal standing to turn around and say that they stole his idea from within the company. Like, he doesn't have a legal argument.
Luhrix is the kind of guy that goes, the people who make X Defiant or thought of X Defiant shouldn't be paid because they copied Call of Duty.
Yeah, exactly. Or freaking Battlefield.
There's so many FPS shooters out in the market. Hey, yo. Thank you, Mr. Mayor McCheese, bro.
Appreciate it. I will say it. I'll
bro.
say it here. Look, listen. Mayor McCheese here. Love what you guys are doing. Keep it up, fellas. Appreciate you guys. Did you have a stroke at the end of that? JK, I know how it can be. Trust me. I've had multiple donos fucked up, but appreciate you, brother. Links, don't even worry about it. Appreciate the view, the like, everything. We appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you guys so much.
But it's 100% the same thing. It's like Luhrix is literally like, imagine Luhrix goes ahead and decides to, he's like, "Oh, guys, we should only pay somebody if they reinvent the wheel." In what concept? You know, the guy who made when the Ford company started making tanks during World War I, right? and then they came out with different types of tanks. The guy who made the invention for the Riptide tank, for the Panzer tank, the people who came up with these ideas,
Sherman.
they got paid. That even though it was their job, they got fucking paid, man. Oh my God! Listen, if this debate doesn't teach you anything but one thing, it should be: do not ever work for Luhrix. Never. Content creator, sure, 100%. Watch his videos, enjoy his videos. Never work for this guy, because he believes if his work environment sends you into therapy, it's your own damn fault.
Gets implemented. It doesn't matter what it is.
Stream to Zeph and Kmplxity realized that we shouldn't work for Luhrix.
I know, man. It's crazy.
Okay, yeah. So that's where you draw the line of whether or not it gets implemented. That's the thing.
Yeah, if it's implemented, you show that you contributed value.
Yeah, that's literally the only argument. That's literally what he's been saying the entire time. If the idea is used, he should get paid. If it's not used, he shouldn't get paid. And Luhrix is like, oh, so that's your point of view? It's been his point of view for the last 40 minutes, bro.
Okay, so it doesn't matter on how like unique it is or important. It shows you contribute value. I got it.
The uniqueness of the level.
It doesn't matter.
Because if it's not implemented, then you didn't add value to the video.
Exactly.
Okay, so that was the first thing I wanted to outline. Now the second thing is, as I was watching this guy's video, he explained on how he was working on this with multiple other people. So I wanted to know, what was this about? So hop in the screen share. I want to play this part because it said he was working on this video and ideas on the whiteboard with multiple different other people.
Of course he was.
Yeah.
So yeah. So here, let's see.
But in his hold on, Luhrix. In his resume, some of those ideas are still there. You realize that, right?
In his resume, some of the ideas are still there.
Yeah, like 200 feet in the air, like that whole thing, like stuff
is
still there.
And
no, what he's saying is that in his resume, Ty's ideas were in his resume prior to going to Mr. Beast and pitching it, further proving the fact that he had the idea prior to them, prior to him being out there.
Fair, I got you.
Yeah.
So I would want to see how unique. Well, it's not the unique part, but
yeah, you keep getting hung up on unique, bro. You keep getting hung up on unique. Are you saying that because, being a YouTuber isn't something unique and mind-blowing and altering that you shouldn't be paid for the work you're doing on YouTube? Like, imagine YouTube turning around and going, Luhrix, we know you're getting a couple thousand, tens of thousands of views on your videos, but it's been done before. So why should we pay you? Like, bro.
If his work, so the difference is that if this guy was working on this, the thing I'm trying to get across as we watch this clip is that if this guy was working on this project with different other people, and then he was also
I did indeed have a stroke. Sorry, must be character development. We appreciate you, Mayor McCheese. That's a good one. Hilarious. That's funny. Oh my God, appreciate it.
Contributing along with those other people, then you have a type of partnership group IP to it.
Yes, it's called a think tank. It's not that difficult. And you know what happens in a think tank? Every motherfucker gets paid, or they're supposed to get paid.
Of course.
Yeah. So it wouldn't just. Yes. So I think that paints a different light on it. That's not the way that it was described as Ty. So let me find this clip. Should be like whiteboard.
I need a burp.
I will say Luhrix's pause game is on point, man. Some of these still frames are diabolical.
I said my variations just in case they didn't like my original ones. This is the world's most dangerous obstacle course.
So, okay. You in the screen share?
Yeah.
This guy goes to show and describe like other things he wrote on the whiteboard or whatever.
And I
then talks
didn't
about this
put my
one.
variations in there. I just put the ones that I wanted, and I verbally said my variations just in case they didn't like my original ones. This is the world's most dangerous obstacle course. So C1 has been working on this with me and the other guy, I don't know his name, and we're working on, like, as you can see, the intro, the hook, the money mechanic. Right here, we're looking at, this is the most important part, it's just rooms. When I saw rooms, when we were brainstorming.
So he's working on this with multiple different other people.
Of course he is, Luhrix. Come on.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's almost like Luhrix is trying to say, it's almost like he's trying to say, because he was working on it with other people, it's not his idea. Like that's not at all how that works. You can gather a team together, and if you're the person, right, like the first person to have the idea to make an engine that runs on freaking water, even though he went and got help to develop it, to create it, to get the engineering on it, it was still his idea. He still, I was going to say he got paid for it, but actually he got killed for it. But so it was still his idea, just because he went out and got people who maybe were a little bit more knowledgeable or were skilled in areas that he wasn't. It was still his idea. He started the idea. He planted the seed.
Storming rooms. I'm like, dang, okay. Rooms. I just did a prompt on the world's dangerous trap rooms. This is perfect. I can do this. It doesn't exactly follow the obstacle course, so I can kind of use my...
So I think while he's working on this concept with different other people, and they're shopping around these ideas, when he is there for a trial period to see if he gets the job. What do I say it again?
Right now he's referencing his resume. And now he's adding some of those ideas to this board, and they were implemented in the video.
Yeah, this Mario thing?
Right? The 200 feet in the air and no harness thing.
Yeah. So
you can keep playing it out if you want to, if there's more.
Yeah, this is just like the design thing and whatever.
I hate the fact that throughout all of this, Luhrix has answered none of the hard-hitting questions WillyMac has asked. Didn't answer the question of who else has been doing this if it's so ununique. Didn't answer questions about his, like, what do you consider to be moral liability? None of it. It's like, how are you gonna put something as your position, and then when asked to define your position, you're just like, let's move on. It's like,
Look at this
literally
picture
answer for most of this is, I feel this way. I feel this.
yeah. It's like, this is the way I feel.
right here. So this was my idea here. I wanted to make an obstacle course in the air, but like somehow incorporate it with the Mario idea. Somehow just, I don't know, somehow do that. This is a picture that I drew for this pitch for this idea. And I realized that, you know what, I couldn't do the floating block, so I wanted to make sure I can do it another way. So I had an idea of a truss with 4 cranes holding it up, and I wanted to be able to go across it. That was just the first section of it.
That sounds familiar, doesn't it?
What does?
Bro.
All being
That's so bad faith.
For like 200 feet in the air.
It all being in the air?
It, right?
Yeah, so I would just say the core of this and what he's bringing up here, and these axes and like little ball gavels or whatever. Then he has the monkey bar like planted here. Then he said he wanted to do a helicopter and different other platforms here. The net situation, I don't think this is worthy of getting compensated on top of. No. I don't think it is meaningful enough to get compensated when you're out there to do a skill performance.
So
What does that mean? What is the threshold of meaningfulness? Define that. Define the threshold of what is and what isn't meaningful enough.
For a job, especially working with on top of different other people.
I saw somebody in chat say wipeout. You realize even the person that added the wipeout idea still got paid, right?
Exactly.
Right? It doesn't matter how fucking
unique.
It does not matter how uncreative it is, guys. If it's added to the video and the work is done, you get paid for it, typically, right? Now, I'm not saying Mr. Beast needs to go to fucking jail for this, or there's not going to be any legal consequence, because frankly, doing this isn't illegal, right? For most people that have worked in any business sense, they've had their ideas stolen, and it's shitty. And I think that's all anybody's saying here. Like, this is shitty.
Yeah, so
probably compensate
better business or reward the people that give you good ideas than to just fucking shit on them.
Right, because then people aren't going to want to do it anymore. They're just going to want to take their own ideas and go somewhere they know is they're going to get compensated.
It's so wild to me that they literally flipped.
Yeah, it's crazy. And neither of them even noticed that they flipped their art.
But the moral argument for this one is way more like understandable versus the one that Luhrix is having. So it's like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, is it hypocritical? And I'm like, I keep listening to WillyMac talk and I'm like, no, it's really not, because like, this is like, it goes in circles.
Yeah, it's just going in circles. They're just talking and talking and talking in circles. And of all people in this debate, Luhrix should be agreeing with Willie Mac because he's making a moral argument here, and Luhrix is asking for facts. It's like, how did we get here?
I think.
So no, I get what you're saying, and I actually agree with most of it. The thing is that the broad point,
the way you were talking.
yeah, the broad point that this guy is making is that this is Mr. Beast etiquette. They fucked me over, and I do not think that paints this picture or goes to show that, because as we've been shown and seen,
hold on. When you're saying fucked me over, what are you referring to? Because Ty's referring to a really like ridiculous fucking conspiracy theory. Okay. I'm referring to just pay him for the compensation for the day.
I know. So this is an argument. So this is an argument about Mr. Beast's etiquette and not appropriately like handling his employees or whatever. And I do not think that's true. I think if this guy would have reached out, and if he would have saw this, reached out to Mr. Beast and said like, "Hey man, I saw that you used like part of my idea in this video. What the fuck? Like I feel kind of gypped out." I feel like Mr. Beast's etiquette, as we've gone to show with different examples before, he would respond saying, "Oh, okay, man."
But you're making an argument. Oh my God. You're making an argument that didn't happen. You don't know whether or not he reached out to Mr. Beast and was denied compensation. You're operating under the assumption that Mr. Beast would do that. You don't know that. You don't know what he would have done. You don't know if Ty tried, reaching out to Mr. Beast. You don't know any of this, Luhrix, but you're making the assumption that had it happened, he would have been compensated.
If this is the case, and this is the argument he wants to make, then there is moral and legal ground to go back to the Brian or the Jake Welter guy.
Oh, Weddles, yeah.
Weddles, that his whole thing has what happened.
Yeah, Luhrix is literally.
If that's the argument he has to go with. He has to then in turn say, okay, in this case, Jake Weddle reached out to Mr. Beast, got money. Now we're validified. But now he's essentially saying, oh, well, he needs to reach out to Mr. Beast, and then if he gives him money, then I guess he has to stick to a lane because he's flip.
But he's not. Yeah, exactly. You can't turn around and say, well, if you reach out to Mr. Beast and he compensates you, then that means you are correct. You can't say that for Ty and then turn around and say that Mr. Beast paid Jake Weddle even though he wasn't in the wrong. Like, you have to stay consistent with your arguments.
If you feel that way, hey, usually that's just like my policy with like coming out with a vibe check or whatever. What?
Did he just say if you want to lie for a check?
Okay, man. If you feel that way, hey, usually that's just like my policy with like coming out with a vibe check.
Oh, a vibe check. Okay.
Yeah. But Mr. Beast did respond. He essentially just lied.
Oh, well, yeah, because the guy made a fucking expose video to 2.5 million people at an opportune time. He thought, oh, look at my experience. Wait, okay, wait, what was the, you keep saying a lie. What do you mean by lie?
Well, he went ahead, pull up the tweet that Mr. Beast responds by Drama Alert.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, I have it if you don't have it.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it. I don't know what the keywords would be.
Here, let me pull it up and you could search for it, or maybe I could just link you.
Or just DM it to him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I'm sorry we aren't more prepared for this.
No, you're good, dude. Dude, this is good content, man.
A whole lot more prepared. Don't say that. This is not good content. I mean, it's good. It's good rage content. That's for damn sure.
Here, this is his statement.
Okay, cool.
Alert.
Yeah, let me pull this up.
Here's proof we worked on that idea in 2023. He definitely didn't come up with the idea. It's been floating around for 3 years since Fall Guy came out.
Whoops.
Okay,
well,
so
that's essentially saying that Ty didn't work on the video at all, right? You realize that?
Okay, no, Willie. This is not.
Why is there maximum good faith given to Mr. Beast here? This is ridiculous.
Okay,
for real.
Hold on for a second. Right? First and foremost, this is the response that Mr. Beast is giving. This guy fucking made a video, claiming and saying like, dude, this guy fucking stole my idea. This guy stole my whole shit for this world's deadliest obstacle course. It's like, hold on, bro. first and foremost, you were
He took
working
my
on
whole
this.
day's worth
You
of
were
work,
working
is
on
what
you
he's
were
saying.
working on this with a different
I
other set of
contributed.
team. What this ended up being was a 2-3 minute segment.
And you know what's crazy? It's obvious that Luhrix has never been part of a think tank or a think group, because generally, even if they fly you out, they still pay you compensation, even if they don't use your idea. They say it's an act of good faith. They typically will be like, "Hey, we're not going to use your idea. We appreciate you coming out. We're going to pay you, a regular, we're going to give you some sort of compensation for your time. We know it's, you went out of your way to come out here, et cetera, but we're not using your idea. We appreciate it." Like, that's just, you for somebody who's making arguments about morals, when it comes to a moral argument, he's turning around and going, show me the facts. And it's like, dude, it's standard operating procedure for most companies.
In a 28-minute fucking video, and now you're making a video claiming entirely
that guy's contribution. It's irrelevant.
It is.
Well,
You realize that, right?
it's the
You
framing.
don't come up with the whole
I get-
video in one day.
I get why you're saying that for your video's perspective and what you want to cover in your video, but it's this guy's framing which is going to
I wanna
appropriately
point
be
out-
the reason why Mr. Beast is responding this way.
As much as there is Mr. Beast derangement syndrome, and I feel like I don't know about how your chat is, but at least in Chud's chat, there is definitely a degree of Jake Weddle and Ty Orr derangement syndrome as well, dude. Like, there is too much good faith being given towards Mr. Beast by some people, and I think there is too much good faith given towards Dogpack.
Yes.
And fucking Jake Weddle in
Okay.
some
Yep.
instances too.
Okay.
So to a degree, we gotta reel it back and we gotta call a duck a duck.
Okay, so
This is a lie from Mr. Beast here, in my opinion.
so let's see the lie.
And here's the thing, just because you have proof that you were working on it doesn't mean anything. You might have proof you were working on it back in 2023, but you didn't implement the small nuances of his idea that you implemented into your video is still visible. Because even if you had the idea, let's say you had the idea to make a new Adidas brand or not, something to compete with Adidas, you might have that idea for it to be a reverse check mark, and then someone comes around and say, hey, instead of making it a reverse check mark, make it an upside down check mark. And you decide to go with that logo, then somebody's going to come out and be like, oh, well, we already had this idea. It's like, yes, but your idea was this, their idea was that, and you went with that rather than your original idea, or you mixed it together. It's just all comes down to brother did something. He offered his ideas. They used his ideas. He didn't get paid. I don't understand how this is so difficult to grasp.
Mr. Beast's team reached out to Drama Alert. Here's proof we worked on that idea plus thumbnail in 2023. He definitely didn't come up with it, as that idea has been floating around for 3 years since Fall Guys came out. So this is responding to the fact of Ty Orr claiming that he came up with this world deadly obstacle course fucking idea when he had a 2 to 3 minute segment. This isn't a lie by Mr. Beast. Of course it isn't going. Of course it isn't going in a lot of
2 to
detail.
3 minute
That is not
segment in a multi-million view video.
Yeah. And anyone who doesn't know about YouTube, the first 30 seconds of your video is the most important of your video. It is what grabs the audience and determines whether or not they're going to continue to watch. So the fact that that was in the beginning of the video means they knew it was a good idea.
A lie.
Mm-hmm.
And this doesn't discredit
Why is
Mr.
this not
Beast
a
in
lie?
this situation.
What is this not a lie for?
So the reason this isn't a
He's
lie.
saying what is he saying here fundamentally? Saying Ty Orr did not work on this video.
No,
That's what he's saying.
no, he is not. He said that
is what
he
he's
didn't come
implying
up
with this.
No, what he is responding to, and the reason why he's showing this evidence is that he did not come up with this idea of the world's deadliest obstacle course, and this is with Mr. Beast appropriately showing
He
this.
did not come
the
up
evidence.
with the idea of the
This
world's
is him
deadliest obstacle course.
Yes, he did not, because and Mr. Beast, that's how he's responding to
To
this,
Ty
because he's
working on the
showing
video, bro.
he's
What?
showing the thumbnails. Okay, dude, wait. Okay, do you not agree?
Well, here's another argument. Mr. Beast didn't come up with the idea of the world's deadliest obstacle course, considering there's things like American Ninja Warrior. There's things like Japan and China where they do the wipeout. Like, it's not, none of it's an original idea. None of it's an original concept. Hell, they're not even using an original concept, considering they're using that little in the top left with Mr. Beast, where he's hanging off the edge, that looks like one of the Mario things. So it's not even an original concept. But yet he's trying to argue it needs to be original and unique. You can't have your cake and eat it too, bro.
What I'm saying. So Ty was, when he was flown out to work on this, he was put with a different writer's room or idea room to talk about specific challenges. That was his contribution. Yep. Yes, correct. We have that established.
On the world, look at the whiteboard. World's most dangerous obstacle course featuring Mac. It is that video, right?
Yes. I'm not denying that. I'm saying that was his contribution. The thing was, though, is that Mr. Beast responding, saying, hey, this guy didn't come up with this fucking idea. He's responding to the fact of that he didn't come up with the world's deadliest obstacle course, not to the fact that he had some kind of contribution.
When you say the world's deadliest obstacle course and cut to Ty actually working on it, to a degree, Ty did contribute to coming up with that.
Okay, that's
a ridiculous statement.
Dude, this is not no. We're like speaking past each other. This is an autistic. This is an autistic fucking shit.
You're
dude.
being here, dude.
No, we're speaking past each other. Yes, we both agree
when you say
that he did contribute. Okay, he
did to a degree.
He contributed to the little concept in the beginning of the video.
He shouldn't get paid because it was only 2 minutes.
What?
You're saying he shouldn't get paid because it's only 2 minutes, right?
No, I don't think this is a meaningful enough thing.
What is? What is?
Every time I try and pin you on what you're saying.
Wait, I just said no.
No,
I just said no.
I'm not sure. Like, it's like, bro, how could I talk to you when...
But Willie, what you needed to do is hammer him on what he means by meaningful. You needed to ask and get a barometer of what is and isn't meaningful. Then you can hammer in on the finer details. Because he keeps saying this isn't a meaningful contribution. Define a meaningful contribution. Then we can tackle what that is and isn't.
You just keep going, well, I'm not really positive on that.
Wait, Willie, I just said no.
Then what is it? What is he saying there?
With Mr. Beast?
What is he saying about Ty here?
So he is saying that Ty didn't come up with the concept of the idea. And that's why he's responding saying with...
Those are the same things, brother.
These thumbnails saying idea's been floating around for 3 years since Fall Guys came out because it's this concept of the idea.
You realize this is such a vapor thing. So I believe somebody at Mr. Beast said, well, what about the world's most dangerous obstacle course? They're like, yeah, that sounds crazy. That's not the same as actually working on the pre-production of the obstacle course. That is like a completely new level.
Mary Lee in the chat of Luhrix, I 100% agree. It said that they said hopefully one of them will rage quit soon. Like I agree, brother. Like Jesus Christ.
Right? You understand that?
Yes. So this is
and what
Mr.
the
Beast
fuck are we talking about? This is a know-nothing thing. What he's saying here is nothing. You realize that, right?
So it is responding to the fact that Ty didn't come up with the concept of idea. Yes, he's not addressing the specific contribution, which I felt like he should have responded to.
Contribution.
If he wanted to respond, he should have talked about the contribution. But clearly,
we agree that
so it didn't go into depth enough.
Nothing, right? It's just meant to discredit Ty. Is really not saying anything. If he posts nothing, it's the same thing because this doesn't show anything.
If he posts nothing, this is the same thing.
Yes,
what's the idea?
This contributes.
I don't remember in this video, did Ty say that, like, did he make a broad statement that he came up with like the concept of the idea too? I don't remember, but if that's
how has this been your argument for the last 30 minutes and you just get to the thing of I don't remember if he said he came up with the idea. Bro, your entire argument thus far has been he lied about coming up with the idea, and now we've gotten to, well, I don't remember if he said that actually. Then what has the last 30-40 minutes been about?
Not the case. Then yeah, I mean, this isn't like this isn't a big meaningful response from Mr. Beast. Yes. Okay. There we go.
Did you say it's not a meaningful?
No, it's not. This is not an in-depth or meaningful response here. Okay, but all right, here we go. Next point.
Okay.
Are you satisfied with that point? As
well,
much as we're going to
on
be.
this topic now?
Exactly.
I don't get where you're even understanding anymore.
Well, yeah.
I don't know why you're having difficulty understanding.
Maybe because you don't keep the same argument. Maybe it's because in the beginning you said, I don't want to argue facts, I want to argue feelings. And now that he's arguing feelings, you're like, well, give me facts. Like, maybe that's why, dude. Oh my God.
You know what You know what I feel like at the end of this? Luhrix is just a Mr. Beast.
Oh my gosh. It's a good thing. It's a good thing that a lot of debates on YouTube are well on YouTube and not in person. Holy Jesus.
My position. I feel like I'm explaining it, but
well, your position is he shouldn't get paid because it's not creative enough. And then when I ask you, you realize that's not a good point because of this and this, and you go, yeah. And then you go on about like, well, Ty didn't come up with the idea. Here's a Mr. Beast tweet. And then I go, well, you realize this isn't saying anything. And you go, yeah, it's not saying anything. So I have no clue what you're even saying here. I don't know what you're even arguing.
So Mr. Beast, okay, last clarification. No, Mr. Beast is not responding to the contribution that Ty did. No, he should have responded to that. That is true. But what he is responding to is that this guy didn't come up with the concept of the idea.
But that's not what Willy's argument is. Willy's argument is, regardless if he came up with the concept or not, Mr. Beast or Mr. Beast Games should have compensated him for the ideas that they did use. You've completely lost the plot, both of you. Like Willy, I can more so understand with Willy because he's probably so fed up running in circles at this point. He's already probably forgot his own argument. But the whole beginning of this conversation for this segment was Willy saying Ty should be compensated for the ideas that were implemented in the video, and Luhrix turning around and saying, well, his ideas weren't meaningful enough. They weren't original enough. He didn't come up with the concept. And it's like, you don't need to come up with the concept. It doesn't have to be original. It doesn't have to be unique. None of that has to be it. You said this should go in the video. They said we're putting that in the video. He did not get compensated. That's the argument. That's what happened. Does it legally, is he responsible? Absolutely not. Morally, in my opinion, 100%.
Yep.
Which is the reason why he's showing the thumbnails to show this idea for the video. So no, it is not. It is not a meaningful. Weren't even that. So this is pointless. This is just meant to discredit Ty. I don't remember if that's what this is meant.
It's an effort.
I don't remember if he didn't say that or if he did or not. But if that is the case, then yeah, he should have put out a more fleshed out response.
But how did you just spend the last 30 minutes arguing against an argument that you don't even know if he made? How?
This is true. This isn't a lie, though. It's just like a retarded response. It could be
maybe it's not a direct lie, but it's meant to obfuscate the entire situation, right? It's meant to discredit Ty in a very vague sense.
Muddy the water.
Just throwing that out there. Just throwing out like completely meaningless things to make Ty look less credible.
It's giving a response without giving a response.
Yes, it could be perceived that way, or that's the way that he approached or saw the thing, but he should have responded more meaningful and more in depth. I do agree with that. These little responses Mr. Beast is putting out on Twitter of like little lunchly jabs or little fucking jabs here and there of like easy allegations he thinks he can debunk. I think those are retarded, and Mr. Beast should not respond and do the little dream like spurg out small sessions in Twitter. Instead, just do one flat out big.
I agree with Plants in Luhrix's chat. This whole conversation is AIDS because it's slowly killing you. Oh my God.
Response.
This makes me want to
dig to bedrock.
TNT. Yeah. It makes me want to find some TNT in Minecraft.
Yeah.
I agree there.
What's your lunchly take?
My lunchly take?
I've gotten so much heat for lunchly.
The whole thing about lunchly is stupid.
I think we agree. I don't give a fuck. And everybody tries to frame it as the fact that like Mr. Beast is
like poisoning the kids on purpose. He's making them obese.
All the points are like very rough, but the best point people try to use is that, well, they're trying to like market this as healthy. That's not true. All they were doing is saying it was healthier than the product currently on the market, which is Lunchables. That was the thing.
Somebody literally, well, there's a narrative or not a theory going around that like, oh, this is all part of Mr. Beast's plan to make the kids fat so they don't go outside, so he has a longer watch time on his videos. And it's like, go outside, touch grass, find people to talk to outside of your walls and your demons. Please, for the love of God, if you think that or believe that, seek professional help. Approximately $110,000 worth of help.
Yeah, I agree. So I thought his statement on it was actually like pretty good. You know, I thought like Logan Paul, if anybody, was the person to criticize over the Lunchley stuff. Not really Mr. Beast.
Yeah, I guess the biggest critique for all of that is just being in partnership with someone like Logan Paul.
Yeah,
I guess that would be the closest thing, but that's not really the concept of Lunchleys. It's the concept of working with a bad business partner.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, somebody,
especially a business partner who's currently having two of his companies investigated for malpractice, for illegal. What was it? I think one was like illegal funds or illegal distribution of funds and all that in 2 different countries, bro. How do you manage that?
Controversial.
Yeah.
And what do you think of Chris Tyson? Do you think like Mr. Beast knew?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry. Yes. There's more than enough evidence to suggest he knew. There's evidence of him being in the Discord, seeing it, being pinged. There's no ands, ifs, or buts. Maybe he didn't know to the degree of what was happening, but that was a moral choice to not look further.
Yep.
I mean, I'm certain that guy fucking knew at least some degree of what was happening on the Discord.
It's not pre-watched. It's just logic, okay? It's just logic. Yes, I pre-watched up into a couple of it, but this, like, the last 40-something minutes I have not seen.
If I had to make
he 100% knew about the lolly.
If I had to make a bet, this is like his childhood friend who he's like grown up with and whatever. And as they grew up, the guy became kind of like a degenerate gooner freak. So he was like, okay, well, we've already started a channel together. He's getting kind of weird. He's kind of doing weird shit. I don't think he knew the full extent of it, but then he started seeing that Shad Man drawing in the fucking living room, and he probably was like, hopefully he did like the Nick to Bo Blacks. Hopefully he'll get better. Hopefully the guy will just fix himself on itself. But
what you're saying is that he willfully disregarded it, which makes him liable. It's just, that's the way the law works, y'all. That's like that you have some level of culpability. Like, come on.
So I think he knew a little bit of it, but just since he was his childhood friend, he didn't fully want to like burn the bridge and like nuke the guy.
I agree.
Fuck that. Absolutely 110% fuck that. If any person that I know is in any way, shape, or form engaging in that or anything like that, they have a better chance surviving by going and talking to the police than me finding out. I'm just in Minecraft. I'm being 100% honest with you here. I will 25 to life for that shit. Ain't nobody fuck around. No.
So it's something like that, I assume.
So with Ty, really quick, where just one concise thing on where you think Ty's wrong or right, or where
please
he changed it all.
Please, one stance
after our conversation, just because I'm still confused.
Yeah. So
we all are, Willie. We all are.
Ty Ower. We haven't even talked about the 1.7 million thing. Okay, well,
the 1.7 million thing, like, listen, is stupid, is 100% dumb. It doesn't, in my personal opinion, you should look at it as him being a dumb goober. Like, it doesn't discredit him.
Do that in a second.
Well, that's just retarded. We could just all agree, like, that's just so fucking stupid.
I promise it's not pre-watch. I'm pause-handying here. Goddamn.
Right.
Oh yeah, I guess my problem would be the way you framed it in your video. Because you used that to.
I even mentioned it at my video.
He didn't.
Yeah, that was the problem. Right. Because.
What? I take issue with the way you mentioned it in your video. I didn't mention it in my video. That was the problem. What? Okay.
What the fuck?
That's fucking the what? Bro. Fucking lyrics, bro. Okay. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt with that one.
You made him to seem out
Fuck
more
it.
like a victim who's just getting shit on relentlessly by the audience for no reason, when there was a reason he was getting shit on. It was because he fucking asked for $1.7 million.
I talked about it with Shud. I thought the comments were turned off because when I watched the video, I think I even left a comment about the 1.7 million.
Yeah, it was stupid.
Those comments were up for like 3 or 4 days, from what I remember. So I thought he turned it off maybe after Mr. Beast responded, but I could see that he might have not. So
Nah, this guy turned it off the comments as well. He says in the description, sorry for making the GoFundMe. I figured there were people who wanted to support me. Bonehead move, I guess. I mean, this guy's such a fucker. Everything has been refunded in the process right now.
He shouldn't have refunded. Listen, just because someone puts out a GoFundMe for $1.7 million, and if we're taking Luhrix's argument of culpability of a grown person's autonomy to do what they please, he shouldn't have to refund anything because people are old enough to have autonomy over themselves and donate. So Luhrix, keep the same argument. If they're giving him money, that's that's them. They're culpable for their own actions. You can't in one hand argue, well, people can do what they want, but he was a piece of shit and fooled them into doing this. No.
Unbelievable.
He kind of owned
I will say that the last part of he was a piece of shit and coerced them into doing it, that's obviously not what Luhrix said. That's more animated and over exaggerated on my part. Let me just put that out there, because unlike Luhrix, I will actually,
GoFundMe because he had a pinned comment in his own video. So I thought that wasn't the reason, but I could see that it could still be.
No,
I mean, I talked about this with Shud already.
Yeah, but that would definitely be the reason, because no one had a problem, because he's actually supported, and that's why, because he was supported for the idea thing. He was supported because there's a huge Mr. Beast hate bandwagon right now. Of course, he's always going to be supported for this concept. The reason that made his allegation uniquely weird is that the guy asked for $1.7 million fucking dollars. So that got people to think, oh, this is a little bit weird.
Yeah, he asked for the budget of the
film.
Video.
Yeah.
What he
That's
says.
Unbelievable.
As if like he built it by hand.
And I think
so,
that's,
I
and I do think,
agree on that.
yeah, and I saw a bit of your Shud conversation, and I actually think I disagree a little bit, where I do think it's important to show the motivation and intention here, because it shows where this guy is coming to the situation from. So from this guy's point of view,
it doesn't matter. Just the facts that he brings to the table is all that matters.
True.
Yeah, from this guy's point of view, though, he saw Mr. Beast getting shit on. He saw that this guy was becoming like a hated figure online. So what did he think to himself? Oh, I have my own personal story about Mr. Beast. Here, let me tell the public. And I've been seeing a lot of people get money off of this and support. Hopefully I can hop onto the bandwagon and fucking get some cash along the way.
Crazy.
Or now's the best time to do it, but it may be the most believable because, hey, maybe everybody's realizing maybe he's not as cool of a guy as you think he is.
Well, it's also crazy how freaking Luhrix is using context clues and circumstantial evidence to make this argument. Like, come on.
I agree, but it doesn't matter if this guy's like a serial fucking rapist, right? Is the only thing that matters is the facts he brings with his claims, and I think that is what I focused on.
Yeah, it would matter when it comes to like his testimony and things that he can't prove, but if there is evidence to back up everything he's saying, it wouldn't change it. But again, it's like the Jake Weddle thing, where he undermines any kind of testimony he wants to be taken seriously without
when
his.
You say he undermines it.
No, he doesn't, though.
Completely different shit that you're talking about, though. It's not like he's undermining.
It doesn't undermine any of his arguments. Asking for money doesn't undermine the fact that, they used his ideas, they implemented ideas and didn't pay him. None of that undermines it. It makes him look dumb. It makes it look like maybe he was, doing it in hopes of getting money. It definitely, he literally flew out there, not on his own dime, of course, but he literally went out there in the hopes of making money. Like his whole, the whole thing here is the fact that he wanted to work on Mr. Beast games, get paid for it. And now you're turning around and going, oh, well, he's just doing this for the money. Yes, that's the whole reason he went out there. Crazy concept.
Shocker.
People don't work for free.
Well, what I would say is that there's
for these other reasons. So now,
here's the thing.
Because he's retarded.
The reason why
same thing is this is the derangement syndrome though. Hold on, it's like since Mr. Beast is actually guilty for some of these things or deserves criticism for some of these things, we now use this to justify him being guilty
for
all
everything.
of these things that shouldn't be, that's just not true. Like they're just bad reasons, right? And I feel like the same thing's going on.
Oop. That's the live. That's not me. That's the video itself. Oh, it looks like he changed his inputs on OBS.
He just doesn't say anything in the chat at all.
Yeah, he doesn't say. Yeah, it's funny. He doesn't speak. He doesn't say nothing. The chat is going crazy. F's in the chat. Luhrix, you died. What the flip? Yeah, it seems like he probably hit the wrong plugin. This isn't me. This isn't like the video is still playing. Okay, there you go. Luhrix came back. It seems like maybe his it seems like maybe his freaking OBS crashed or something. Fuck you, Ken.
We hear you? Wait, okay, 1 second.
It seems like probably
fuck,
Discord
dude?
and
My
or
camera just shit itself and then everything got fucked.
yeah.
Camera frozen?
Turn it off
Fuck,
and
dude,
on.
I gotta tell Willy something in a second. Okay, we'll get back.
Bro, Willy was going in.
Yeah, he was. He was going in and freaking.
Just the fit.
Let's fast forward here.
Wait,
There we go.
WF.
Whoop, whoop.
What?
Yeah, are you all right?
Dude, I literally just got bombed by IDF. What the fuck, man?
You good?
I'm so sorry. What the fuck, dude? I just ran.
It's all good.
Not really a good joke.
Like you hit the camera on accident or something.
Yeah, dude.
Did you?
What the? Yeah, I hit my camera and then I tried to fix it and it just fucked my whole shit. Okay, we're still live. We're good. Okay, I can hear Willy now. We're good.
Are we?
Yeah, people are saying, Jay's got him. Okay. Let me take
We
a look at
ran.
this. Okay, can I turn my camera?
Yeah, it's true. I think you ran from the debate, dude. It's finally happened, dude.
Dude, why is my camera? Dude, what the fuck? Okay, whatever. We're not using the camera. All right, we're good. Willy Mac, I'm so sorry. Can you repeat what you said, lastly? Sorry. Fuck.
I don't even remember.
Yeah.
I do remember what we were talking about, but it's just not as exciting this time.
Yeah.
Sort of like that most epic meatballs.
Took the wind out of his sails.
Okay, here. Let me try to get back on.
Can I go get more water since we're already like?
No, you got it, dude. My bad, dude.
All right, I'll be back.
Jesus. Okay, dude. Let me try to figure out my cam.
Let's skip ahead.
Oh.
Okay.
All right, what's up, dude?
So am I good to talk or no?
You are amazing to talk. Okay.
Okay.
We got it, dude. All right, here we go. So,
man, this is what happens when you go on a small streamer show. You know,
small streamers.
They don't have the production
Dude,
these days,
I'm
dude.
getting
They don't
fucking.
have the funding.
I'm just getting knelt on all last 24 hours,
Think
dude.
if I
First
go
it was
on Dr.
Augie.
Disrespect show, he does this.
Yeah, you have another problem there, but
Yeah.
That guy may have fucked a 17-year-old, but goddamn, does he want a clean show?
Okay. So where this came from is that I thought, yeah, just like the core of the thing with your video was that, yeah, we are talking about that. And you kind of agreed.
I remember what I was saying. Can I go?
You got it.
I guess how I feel like to a degree is God, I fucking hate you so much for this. It was such a good conversation. I felt like we were
Dude, this was my tactic.
And now this is fucking like so fucked.
It's like they were actually going somewhere for once.
I guess where I was going is I feel like as much as there's Mr. Beast derangement syndrome, like this is this kind of a similar thing. Where because Mr. Beast is guilty of real legitimate criticism, people are using that to justify things that he really isn't in the wrong in, like kind of like false allegations
or isn't culpable for it in any way, shape, or form.
And shit like that, right? Or like shit like the rocket blowing up.
If you use nuance for one, you got to use nuance for the other.
Right.
Or him curing blind people's eyes, like that's all being twisted into a fucking bad thing, right? And I feel like the same thing's going, like you're kind of doing with Jake Weddle and Ty Orr, where you're taking things they did that is stupid and critical and where they are inconsistent on and wrong on, and then you're conflating that. You're using that to discredit them for things where they actually do have
an actual
some level of evidence that I think is pretty valid there. It's pretty damning to some degree there.
So I disagree,
you know?
and I could outline how I think about it. So of course, with anything that you could prove with evidence, I do think that is something that it doesn't matter how uncredible the source is.
But like,
if you have
Ty, you're
100%,
bringing up the
if you have
$1.7
bulletproof,
million.
wait, okay, one second. If you have bulletproof evidence, it doesn't matter how uncredible of a narrator you are. But if you are trying to use your testimony to bolster your points, your credibility really matters. So if you do things to undermine your, you do things to undermine your credibility and testimony, then that will undermine your point. No, it's not just that, but again, with the Jake Weddle thing, I don't think it's a high enough bar. And with Ty Ower, it depends on what he should. We've already talked about Ty Ower, though. That's actually a different situation.
I feel like
because it doesn't matter much about his testimony.
A little bit of Ty Ower is how I feel through the conversation we've had. Am I reading that right or wrong?
Kind of.
I feel like Chud too. I got Chud to come to my side a little bit.
Well, I wanted to I wanted to understand your perspective, but again, I gave my takes on that. But I understand your perspective and where you're coming from.
Okay. Is there any other shit? What do you think about the rocket shit? That's my favorite allegation.
Oh fuck, dude. My favorite is
great.
the Antichrist ones, man. Oh, I wish they would.
That one is fucking good. I fucking let Dogpack go on that shit because I'm just like, I'm just trying to be like good faith, but it's like that was the fucking one that was just the worst, dude.
If you don't know what he's talking about, basically people are saying that Mr. Beast lied when he said that he was gonna send like toys to the moon or something because the rocket exploded, and people are saying that he's a liar because of that. And it's like, fucking Apollos blew up when they had legitimate rocket scientists and engineers. They don't always get it right, and here you have a dude who paid for people to build a rocket to send it to the moon. Like, of course there's issues that might happen. As far as the satanic BS is, people are calling him like the mark of the beast. He calls himself the beast, and then they were, quoting scripture out of context. It's just, it's things like that also discredit people like Dogpack.
Yeah. That was, dude. Well, at least he got cut from the final thing, so he kind of saved himself by the bell.
Yeah, I gave him that. I just gave him that one off, dude.
Yeah.
And then there was other. Did you see like he and like this is another one where it's like I'm making a 50-minute video to a degree. I just gotta cut shit, right?
Exactly.
But there was the like he's showing 2 servings of a Feastable bar, which is way bigger than a Hershey bar. And like counting it,
dude. He said it's He said it's hypocritical that Mr. Beast is making people obese when he's trying to like save people in one sense. That was
shows
fucking.
a Zaxby's meal, and he's like, kind of crazy that Mr. Beast claims to care about people with legs. It's like, Rob, come on.
How could you heal the blind? How could you heal the blind and resurrect the dead when you're killing them at the same time? Pretty
Dude, you
hypocritical.
can't take a fucking McDonald's sponsorship and apparently care about people having limbs. Like, it's just fucking so funny to me.
Doesn't work. Yeah.
It was brutal.
This really did just end the stream, didn't it?
Yep. It totally took
the stream's live.
It totally took the wind out of his sails. That's what he's saying. Yep. Like they were so at each other's throat, and it just boom.
I'm just not showing my fucking face.
Okay.
No, we're good. No, Willie, dude, you can see the chat, dude. The chat's they're praising your name, dude.
Your screen's just frozen right now on my screen. But
DJ Screwdriver is saying you guys are. Oh no, you just got to refresh because I did lag. You guys are agreeing too much boring. That's what DJ Screwdriver just said to you, dude.
But didn't we just disagree for like at least 30 minutes?
What's your takes on Bo Blacks, dude?
He's a loser.
At least
so that was probably the #1 drama where I was just like, as a fan, I was enjoying the shit out of it, dude. Like, I was watching everybody's coverage. Like, that's kind of what turned me into like a fucking Luhrix head, dude. I was in your chat like every night when that shit was going down. Because I just thought it was such a funny fucking drama. What kind of surprised me was when he went on RFC.
Yes. And literally got destroyed for like 3 hours. Like, oh my gosh.
He sounded like legit.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Really super crazy to me.
Because he is.
And like I was sitting there talking with my fiance about it, and like I had it on the big screen TV and everything. Like I've never fucking done that. And she was like, "Dude, he sounds nuts. Like
he
sounds crazy." He really does. So.
But don't worry, guys. He's reading a book. He's okay.
Very important book.
A very important book that he hasn't finished yet. You know, but he'll get there.
And then like afterwards, he like blocked everybody, and he's freaked out, and then he like DMs.
And then he
Tommy
unblocked
again,
everybody.
So, I mean, I don't know. I think the guys that probably got something loose up there.
Definitely.
The thing is that I
don't know.
want to hype on because I'm hyperfixate on my autistic hyperfixation. Okay, it's topical.
You keep saying you're autistic. Is that just a meme, or are you actually?
No, I'm not autistic. I was just, dude, I'm referencing Bowflex, man. I'm trying to,
okay, my bad.
I gotta explain in Sonic terms. No. Okay, but the thing I'm trying to hype on is that with this, because I'm working on a main channel video for this, I'm looking back into Bowflex's shit, is that not only he cannot just have the excuse of not only is he like some autistic fucking rabid animal who's just doing a bunch of crazy shit. Like, a lot of this is vindictive. A lot of this is malicious. He's not some fucking mastermind at it, as we've seen, because if he was, he wouldn't get caught. But a lot of
he's
this...
definitely not an evil genius, dude.
Yeah, a lot of... He's just evil.
Might be evil.
Yeah, he's just evil. He's just... Bowflex is just a... Bowflex is just a whiny bitch, and he just wants everyone to think... He thinks himself more important than he actually is.
But definitely not a genius.
Yeah, dude. But a lot of this is just, dude, if he gets slighted by anyone, he will spend years trying to get every little
You sound crazy right now, by the way.
Wait, what the fuck happened to me? Am I good?
It sounds like you've fallen down a wall, dude, like a well, and we need to get Lassie.
What the fuck? Okay, one sec.
Sounds like his Elgato is shitting the bed.
Am I better?
Dude, I can understand you. If the stream hears you fine, then we can just deal with it.
Wait, do I sound normal?
This is crazy. Are you fucking with me?
No, dude.
So
dude,
crazy.
what the fuck?
Hang up the call, bro, and call back.
Fucking, let me unplug my mic on Discord. I don't know what the fuck, dude. Jesus.
All right, let me.
No, this is better.
Okay, thank you.
Skip.
Christ, man.
Guys, Luhrix is trolling me to make me look bad in front
You
of
just
you guys.
tactic me back, dude. First, I gaslighted you, trying to get out of the conversation with my tactic.
Insane.
Now you're doing it, dude. No, what was I saying? Vaguely slight this guy throughout his life.
It looks like they're just talking about Bowflex here, and the debate between him and WillyMac is pretty much over at this point. Honestly, my final thoughts on all of this is Luhrix asks for facts, doesn't provide his own facts, then wants to make moral arguments, but when it comes to moral arguments being made against him, he asks for facts. Again, I like both of these creators. I like WillyMac. I watch almost all of his videos. I like Luhrix. Sometimes he has pretty good takes, and there's times when I catch some of the videos that he's done or clips of the stuff that he's done. I like both creators. But this was such a nothing burger of a debate, and it's great fodder, great content for people to react to, but they were never going to see eye to eye because WillyMac came to argue facts, Luhrix came to argue feelings. It was never, there was, yeah, and then it switched. Like somehow magically it switched. Oh my gosh. If you guys, I will say this, if you guys do want to see us cover maybe blowbacks or something, we might do that in the future. I covered it on my own personal channel on Kmplxity, which is in the description of this video, along with the socials for our Twitter, for our own personal channels and everything. And
then for you gamers out there, I am going to have a play of Call of Duty Cold War going up as we get closer to Black Ops 6. So if you're just wanting a refresh on the Cold War storyline that leads into Black Ops 6, feel free to check that out on my channel.
Yes, also in the description. Also in the description as well. Links, love the way he talks about content. For real.
Yep.
But this I was listening, like I said, I was listening to this debate, and I figured I shouldn't be the only one who has to suffer. Obviously, you know, this video has thousands of views on it, but I don't know, there's some people who just it shouldn't be debating on certain topics. If you know you don't have the knowledge to talk about something, just let it go. Have an opinion, state it as an opinion. And if your whole purpose for a debate is that I don't feel this way, it's no longer a debate. You're just there. There's no middle ground. Like they've agreed on small things, but there was no compromise here. It was I don't feel that way. Okay, next topic. I don't feel this way. Okay, next topic. I don't feel that way. Okay, next topic. hey, we both agree that this guy, he did work on this video, but I don't feel that Mr. Beast owes him money. Next topic. Like, it's very bad faith. And if you're going into a debate with somebody, you have to at least hold yourself to some level of morality of saying, okay, open yourself up to maybe being convinced. It's fine to stand in your morals. It's fine to stand and say this is what you believe, but you have to at least be open to the nuance of somebody else's ideas.
I have to agree with that, and I just want to say thank you for making me lose a couple brain cells at least.
Anytime. Shout out to everybody. Let me pull this up real quick. Shout out to Mayor McCheese for the 2 donations. Shout out to DeForce. Yes, sir. Shout out to everybody who showed up, everybody who was watching. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate all of the people who've been helping and watching and leaving likes and everything. Like, we appreciate you guys, and thank you for staying for the 3 hours.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ. Yeah, this was, and it's crazy, man. Like I said previously, if you guys haven't seen WillyMac and Chud Logic, WillyMac and Nicholas Diorio, go check out those videos. They're almost as long as this one. And it's definitely good to see people who are willing to, take criticism. Unlike Bobax, who, if you criticize him, he'll dedicate the rest of his life to getting even if you don't know he exists. So appreciate you two, Links. All right, guys, we're signing off for the night because it's fucking
Have a good
late.
one, guys. Thank
Later.
you very much.